And now, live from the Man Cave Studios, deep in the heart of constitutional Livingston County, Michigan, on a Tuesday night, Rant. Tonight,
Trump brokered peace in the Middle East, and Obama got the
Nobel Prize?
Prize for breathing.
Yeah,
We'll
ridiculous.
Trump
All right, we're
gets.
back on, guys. Unfrozen. There we go. Hey, your
Hello.
favorite Strangler's in there.
oh,
Are we? What is going on, man? I had this once again all set up. There. Okay, now it's working. Keep me posted in chat, guys, if we start freezing up again, because it's ridiculous. I can only do so much on my end at a certain point. It's got to be, it's got to be somebody else. Show. Yes. Welcome, everybody. To the podcast. It is what it is.
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Right
And we
on.
are we're a threesome, a cord of three strands, not easily broken tonight. I'm still thinking about our conversation before dinner. Joe, you got me, my wheels turning. I get all
Yeah.
jazzed
Well,
about that.
I use that as a learning opportunity
Yeah.
for me.
Okay. Yeah, I love talking about. See, that's the thing is, I started out. I did church services for years. In fact, if you went to the HFTC YouTube, HFTC TV YouTube channel, I've got thousands of hours of content on there.
Oh,
Messages
I'll
that
have to check that out.
messages that I've taught, a whole church services that we held. At one time, I had a team of 4 to 5 people on the platform with me, and they all did different responsibilities. Some people would be looking up definitions. Some people would ask certain questions. Nothing was necessarily rehearsed, and so a lot of it was on the flow.
Uh-huh.
And it was modeled a little bit on the good dynamics of the Church of Corinth, where they were when somebody's up speaking and a question comes or something like it was supposed to be a congregational dynamic of everybody sharing, everybody having some input,
Right.
and understanding those. And so I was obviously teaching, but then I'd know and I'd go, "What do you got?" And they go, "Well, the definition that one of those words in that passage you just read, such and such, and I think that flows right with what you're talking." And I would go, "Yeah, that's awesome," and then we talk about that.
Well, the older I get, the more I realize listening is very beneficial. Less talking on my part and more listening, and that's where I have the opportunity to learn.
It is
I
very
never come into an argument where I know I'm right. It's
correct.
or maybe you're wrong.
Right. What was funny too is I'd have a lot of people that would, Jeff from Mayo, remember to vote for Jeff Mayho. Mayho? Is it Mayho? In November, or I will have Stacy Farrell get the brainworm page going again. Dude, I don't know where you're at, but we don't talk like that. But I received that $10. But I used to have people every once in a while getting a little bit of a dust up, and they would be like, not very many people, but a few people, they'd go, "You always have to be. You just think you're right all the time." I go, "No, I don't think I'm right all the time. But I have to live in this body, and I have to lay my head in the pillow. So I work really, really hard at being right. Not so I can win an argument with you.
Right.
So I can sleep at night knowing that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do the right way.
Yeah. And the thing is, when I say that I am open to your
absolutely.
ideas,
Absolutely.
but that's not to,
because it's telling me they're froze again, and I don't know what to do over there. We're back on. Sorry about that, guys. I have no control over the frozen parts.
is that a rumble thing?
I guess so. That's why I put a button over here where I can pause and restart and pause and restart our little system. But I set it on the simplest setting. I'm going to go double check it while we're doing that. Anyways, Larry, roast beef tonight, huh?
Yeah, that was some good roast beef. I'll tell you what. Although I will confess that I scooped around the carrots. I'm not a carrot.
You're not
fan.
a carrot person, huh?
Yeah, I'm definitely not a carrot fan. So
You don't like Carrot Top? That's kind of rude. You know what? I'm not a big carrot person either, but out of habit or I threw them in.
yeah, but I mean it's fine. There's potatoes in there, and there's some onions in there, which we'll all experience later.
I think we'll get more experience out of the potatoes than anything.
No, potatoes don't.
They don't give you flatulence?
They don't bother me.
You know?
Should I be sitting on that side of the table, or you kind of give me a...
All right, I'm keeping an
Just
eye on
kidding.
the frozenness over there.
So, yep, it was that was some very good cream of broccoli soup.
Shut up. Bob Merwin's sending me a link to another YouTube video.
Ah.
Bob, you're supposed to be watching us. I'm typing that out too. It's dead air. You guys got to say something.
Oh, yeah, we can't have dead air. That's true. I just sent Bob Merwin the link.
Well, he just sent me a YouTube. It's
It's
probably my YouTube. No, you sent him the Rumble.
Yes.
Cracks me up, people. You get the phone call. What are you doing right now? Show?
Well, what do you think?
Not everybody knows your schedule. Not everybody pays attention.
So we've had, quite an interesting week, buddy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to get through the disclaimers so we can talk about the Slotkin, Schumer, and Peters government shutdown.
Yeah. I'm still excited about the roast.
Yeah, that was a good roast.
Well, we can't talk about sports this week.
No. Red Wings won 3-2
Oh, they
yesterday.
did too.
Oh,
they
there
did
we go.
beat Toronto.
Yeah, there was
3-2,
a Columbus Day / Indigenous People Day that they had a 2:00 game.
I don't know anything about Indigenous People Day, but I do know of Columbus Day.
Columbus Day.
Yeah.
And what was Trump saying yesterday, saying this is going to be Columbus Day? Or I don't know what that was.
It was the other day he signed that, I think. Yeah. It is, he unlibtarded Columbus Day.
Unlibtarded.
Unlibtarded, okay.
Columbus Days. And the interesting
He
thing.
unwoke it.
Yeah.
There
The
you
interesting thing to me is there's a lot of different dynamics. You're rubbing, Larry.
go. I'm rubbing on me.
Put it on your vest. There we go. Unclip it from there and clip it to your vest. There's apparently Beatrice, 1960, really likes your. There's my leather wearing Larry. No, I did not spill booze on the board again. No, it's. I'm hoping those two glitches are done for the night, and that's all we get. I'm speaking that it's done. No more. I've done a few things to try to make it work better, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It will is, man. All right, let's do some disclaimers.
We're going to, that's.
Let me go right here. I got to do this because I believe I don't have that screen out there. There we go. Okay. And I didn't queue up Grandma. I was working on music today.
Were you?
Yeah.
I have.
You writing a new song?
No, we have the album coming out on November 1st.
Oh.
And we have
What?
8 songs that are. The band's coming to listen to them tomorrow on those specific 8 to make
What
sure.
genre of music?
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Have you been
Okay.
here for a show?
No, I have not.
Oh, wow.
Did I send you an invitation for the
Oh, you did for the
party?
For the party, yes.
So it is a costume party.
Okay.
You
Well,
don't have to wear a costume,
you know,
but Larry does.
people say all I need to do is take off my
I'm
hat.
not coming
and
to the party.
And I'm scary.
Oh, you're not coming to the party?
No.
Who are you sending in your stead?
Well, I heard Ted Nugent was coming to your party, so I decided not to come.
Okay. I'll be looking forward to seeing Ted. Yeah, so I've
you
today.
won't be here, really?
No, he's full of shit.
So if you want to come
That'd
hang
be-
out with
that
Ted,
would be
if you want to
like-
come hang out with Ted Nugent,
That would be like Abbott without Costello.
tomorrow night is the big Reagan Day dinner.
Are you going to that?
Yes, I am.
I'm not going.
No.
We'll leave it there, huh?
They're gonna have square dancing.
Have fun with that.
I
I was offered a couple tickets. I got like literally the album's coming out November 1st.
yeah.
We always have band practice on Wednesdays. I actually have hockey on Wednesdays at 4 o'clock, and then we have band practice around 7:30, 8 o'clock until somewhere around 11. And tomorrow we really have to go over the songs to make sure everything's dialed in. And Tim in Arizona is working on some of the cover artwork.
Very cool.
We did a picture a while back. Took some pictures, and Brady ran them through. My guitar player ran them through an AI, and it distorted our heads and everything like that. But it gave some really cool ideas. And so Tim's actually turning the actual photograph into that cover.
Was the distortion a permanent part of the finished product?
No, it was the AI generated.
Oh, okay.
Like it was us standing in front of the drum booth down there.
Yeah.
And it took out all the background, recolorized our clothes because I was a black and white photo. But then it like misshaped our heads, so we didn't even look like us.
You look like
Yeah.
How do you know that's not the real you?
the alien. What was that movie? The Day the Earth Stood Still.
I noticed your wife wasn't here with any rocks or a baseball bat this
You better thank Sonny Jesus for that. She probably forgot by now.
time. Probably forgot by now.
Yeah. All right. Scroll back up. Well, disclaimer. Oh, it worked. Okay. This podcast is raw, unfiltered, politically incorrect. We say Merry Christmas, Pledge of Allegiance, especially the part about one nation under God. We thank our troops for their service. Thank you, Larry, and those in our audience. We only recognize 2 genders. Check your equipment. It's a dangle or no dangle. As adults, we enjoy adult beverages. I am enjoying an adult beverage tonight. Larry's on the artificial colors and flavors over there, and Joe's
Carbonated
he's
artificial.
Keeping it
real,
hydrated.
keeping it real with the high quality H2O. We cuss. We do not curse or swear. Look up the definitions. There are
Dang
3 different things. We love Jesus, but we hate religion and religious. This is the old copy. Sorry, assholes. If any of this offends you, please leave. There's one disclaimer. And I'm just going to give, let's see, I like this one for you, Joe. Let's see if you can go with this one. Go.
To argue with a person who has renounced the use of reason is like administering medicine to the dead.
kinda
Thomas Paine.
Yeah, it's kind of
Well
useless.
said.
Kind of useless.
Yeah.
And a brand new one for Larry, since he's been asking for something new.
Yes.
Go ahead with that one, Larry. It's a
Okay.
new one.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Shall not be infringed.
That's right. That's the Second Amendment. It's
Yeah.
went into
And when
effect
does it
12,
expire?
15,
When you
1791.
pry it from my cold, dead hands.
That's right.
And we're going to go right to this one, guys.
Never.
Never apologize and never explain. It's a sign of weakness. And the button didn't work.
Oh, broken buttons.
Broken buttons.
Oh.
All right. Well, we're back to us on the table. I thought I had it figured out. You know, it's probably muted over there at the board. It's not even me.
Where's Teddy when we need him?
I know. Super Ted. He's back in the swing of things, getting his college degree, and he's got to write term paper. He's got not term papers, but papers, and he gets caught up with that. So, what are we drinking tonight? I am drinking Di Serono. Larry's drinking Dr. Flugel. Is it Dr. Flugel or is it?
I got this is Diet Cherry Dr. Pepper today.
Dr. Flugel.
And I'm staying hydrated.
Hydrated. Well, cheers.
Ice Mountain.
Cheers to your hydration, buddy.
Ice water. Those two things I'm fortunate I really like.
Yeah.
It's water and salads.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll have a salad. Actually, if Patrick brings his signature salads, I'll do that. But, see, now, why is that button not working? Oh, you know what? I got to check this link over here. Nope, Vicar's working. Okay. Just a glitch.
And if you want some great salad dressing, you go to, is it La Marsa in Brighton?
Yeah.
And get their salad dressing. I try to keep 2 or 3 quarts stocked up at all times.
Yeah.
And it's great for marinating beef, chicken, whatever.
All right, let's get into it. Peace through strength tonight is the theme. Teddy Roosevelt said, to speak softly and carry a big stick and you will go far. Speak softly, carry a big stick. I have always liked President Trump's foreign policy. I think he goes out a little crazy every once in a while, and you go, what are you doing? And then the end results, he's a negotiator. If you understand negotiations, and it would be one thing if he was negotiating from behind the scenes, and he could say some crazy stuff, and you would go, all right, that's crazy, behind the scenes, and nobody else heard it. But as the president, he's got to say some of that crazy shit in public. And then you're like, what are you doing? You can't tell Russia that, we're going to throw a bunch of missiles over there and,
Well, didn't we over the weekend lob a couple missiles?
I don't know. Did we?
Yes, we did.
It's not cool, man.
No,
it's not cool.
It is not cool.
Especially when you got a little potentate dictator over there and Zelensky who suspended elections. Remember that when Trump joked with him? He's like, what? So you're at declared war, so you just suspend the elections until the war is over? And Zelensky didn't get the joke. Trump's like, well, maybe I just need to suspend the election coming up in 2028. I can just declare myself a ruler forever.
I can just, yeah.
And there's no stronger Trump advocate than myself, but I have to ask myself, didn't lobbing those missiles into Russia go against everything he has stood for?
No.
As far as engagement in
no, I mean, they didn't target anything. I don't even think they hit Russian soil.
Oh, tell his troops to stand down on October 7th?
Yeah, there was a 7.5-hour stand down for one of the best militaries in the world.
Yeah, and his Netanyahu's popularity is all-time low. Is that true?
100%. He was set to be fully indicted by the Supreme Court of Israel, and as long as they're at war with somebody, he can stay in power.
He stays in power. Yeah.
So you can't tell me that that he's not fomenting the war. There are certainly enemies.
Yes.
But nobody also acknowledges this. If because they always tout, if you don't support Israel, in fact, somebody in the comments said, it's time to make Israel great again. No, we need to focus on America and let all the other countries
if
do it.
Israel
Exactly.
wants to make itself
Yeah.
great again, good for Israel.
Right, do
right?
their own thing.
Not my job
Correct.
to make Israel great again.
But they're-
It's not my job
Yeah.
to rebuild
The
Gaza?
Middle East,
Gaza,
yeah.
the Gaza Strip. Sorry,
Correct.
I drew a blank there. The Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
They can fix it themselves. It's not our problem.
And Israel has a history of having bad kings.
Right. And
You
it's,
know, and
it's,
is Netanyahu just another?
And you know what?
it's just like Ukraine, right?
Right.
Stop the war. Good. Stopping war. Good.
Right.
Once the war is stopped, if Ukraine wants help, then they got to pay for it.
Right.
You know.
John Bovey's warning you, though, Larry, that saying stuff like that's going to get you assassinated. No, I have a problem with war on both sides. It does take two to tango.
It does.
And I disliked it when everybody was wearing Ukraine lapel flags, knowing that the Ukrainian president was a dictator put in by the CIA in 2014. We watched multiple times President Biden saying, if they don't fire the prosecutor, you're not getting $1 billion.
Right, exactly.
What was that about? That was about overthrowing their government. Look at Libya. Libya is an absolute shit show right now because we got rid of Gaddafi.
Big mistake.
The more you look at Gaddafi's actual fruit, not how he necessarily came to power in a military coup, but some military coups, if you got a horrible government, I mean, everybody,
We have that.
every founder of the United States, every single one of who we call our founding fathers and patriots, were terrorists or what else you want to call them, traitors, until they won the Revolutionary War.
Right.
And then they became patriots.
Patriots, yep.
And the difference, what they say, the difference between patriots and traitors is often a matter of dates. You know?
Matter of who won the war.
Exactly. And so, anyways, Libya, Gaddafi's record was exemplary after he took power. He empowered his people, and that's why they took him out. He was going to, just like Saddam was a piece of shit, but Saddam was going to get off the petrodollar and sell Iraqi gold or Iraqi oil in something other than the U.S. reserve currency. Same with Libya. Libya was making a move to sell their oil in something other than United States currency. Well, you can't have that. We gotta prop up the.
Well, that's what Russia and China are pursuing right now. Are we going to go bomb them?
Yeah, the BRICS nations.
Yeah.
Brazil, Russia, China, and what's the K for? Or is it S? The S is for. Anyways,
I can't. Yeah.
Are you able to cut to my laptop?
always.
Okay. Well, last week we couldn't. Remember, we tried.
Well, you failed that. It wasn't my fault.
Ah.
There are things that are my fault, 100%.
Yes. Just not that. There we go. Look at that. That is a tweet from Letitia James.
Letitia?
Yep. She sent Trump a Valentine's message. Roses are red, violets are blue. No one's above the law, even when you think the rules don't apply to you. Happy Valentine's Day.
Look who's talking.
Yeah. You know,
I
The
just
pot calling the kettle black.
well, you know, you reap what you sow.
you know the reason that she went after Trump for mortgage fraud is because she was well versed in what it looked like.
Yes. Nobody has more
Experience. She had
fraud.
with the
experience,
mortgage fraud than Letitia
Do you
James.
think
100%.
anything's going to come of this, or Comey, or
But these
I don't
Democrats,
think this corrupt.
these Democrats are so weird, buddy. I mean, look at it. You got the one Democrat married her brother, and you got Letitia James married her father.
This is true. and I want to know how you have 4 primary residence.
Yes.
Do you have 4 primary residents,
Well,
Joe?
did
No,
you see
absolutely.
the size of her butt?
Well, you got to back that thing up. But yeah, there are 4 primary residents, and I think
2
3 of
houses
them,
for each cheek.
3 of them happened to be outside of her district, and she was actually. I don't think any of them were inside the district where she was district attorney.
Oh,
She's required by law to be a resident.
Yeah, but it's legitimate
Yeah.
because she owned these houses while she was running for office, so she kept moving closer to the district in case she got elected.
Okay. All right.
But do you think? Do you really think anything's going to come of?
If it don't, we need to hang the country up.
It has to. There has to come something has to come out of the indictments. Comey's been indicted now. Who's the other one that just was indicted?
Letitia James.
Comey?
Yeah, but there was another one, mustache guy. Didn't he get charges?
I don't think yet. I don't think anybody else has got it yet. I'm waiting for a little Adam Schiff.
You took the
Shifty
word
shit.
right out of my
Yeah.
mouth.
Yeah. Adam Schiff needs
Schiff
to
for
be
brains?
indicted. Yep, and so does. Oh gosh, what was his name? Who was Comey's cohort? I can't
Oh
remember his name.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Yeah, all of these guys. See, it is time now, and the Democrats are running around crying, "Oh, Trump is weaponizing the government. Trump is weaponizing the government." No,
Yeah.
no,
Wait until we
no,
get in power.
Yeah, no.
What have they been doing for the
Yeah,
last?
no,
10
No,
years.
he's not. Who weaponized the government was
Clinton?
Joe Biden and the Democrats.
Yeah.
They went after their political opponents, and now we are administering justice
We're simply pursuing
the
justice.
way it's supposed to be
right.
administered. You know,
100%.
the Bible, God will not be mocked, right? You reap what you sow.
Yep.
And these people are simply being paid back by reap what you sow.
But
I mean,
Right.
I can't put it any. They're just getting paid back. It's what they
Well,
did, and now it's happening to
Correct.
them.
And I don't even think it's-
just, and it's moral, and it's godly.
Right, and I don't even think we call it being paid back. I don't even think it's necessarily being paid back. The
Right.
term.
Right. You're probably right. I probably put it
it's,
poorly.
It's not being paid back. It's not revenge on Trump's part.
it's accountability.
It's we're in power now, and we're going to hold you accountable
Right.
and responsible for your actions. Whereas when we were out of power, when Trump was out of power,
Right.
it wasn't about accountability and holding responsibility. It was using lawfare.
Right. It was about.
So now it's the difference between lawfare and actual the justice system actually working to prosecute those who are criminals.
That's right. And they need to be. This is a must. They need.
Well,
to
if it doesn't get done now, it will never get done.
That's
what
correct. Who's gonna administer justice?
Yeah.
If not this administration, the Democrats don't. Democrats play the game. That's what they. Nobody plays the game better than them. I can sit here all day long, point to Democrats ignoring crime, and I'll use this.
100%.
I'll use this example. When the Supreme Court was debating Roe versus Wade,
Yeah.
they protested outside the
The
residences
judges
of the judges,
Yeah.
Yeah.
trying to intimidate them.
them.
That is a felony.
Yeah.
But
100%.
Nobody
Nobody
is
did.
held accountable for
None, not one arrest.
Not one arrest.
Not one arrest.
Yeah.
And that one guy.
And that needs to change. If that doesn't change, the
Yeah.
midterms are coming up. They'll be here before you know it. And if heaven help us, if we lose the midterms, the House is going to be all about one thing: impeach Trump. His presidency will come to a screeching halt.
Yeah. I think we need, there's a lot to that. I got to do a super chat over here. John Bovey on a super chat. We've had Jeff Amayo dropping money in here, but John Bovey has designated where it goes. $1 for Larry, $1 for Joe, $1 for Tim. We're out there in Arizona. $1 for me. I'll take that dollar, sign it, and stick it to the ceiling. $1 for me to acquire more Affliction T-shirts. That's what that's for, that $1. These Affliction T-shirts, these aren't Affliction, but I get what you're saying. These are actually Roar, that's a brand name, Roar T-shirts, or shirts, dress shirts. And he says the remaining $46 go to the Gay Fish.
Well, at least he's got a sense of humor, if nothing else.
Yeah.
My gay fish. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the gay fish cam just for him. Just for John Bovey over there.
You know, John Bovey.
There's the gay fish cam.
He's a pretty cool guy
Mm-hmm.
because he does donate quite a bit to the show.
100%. I love it.
Yeah. So
I love it.
we do appreciate John Bovey.
There's the gay fish pull back on the camera right there. Beautiful. Look at that.
Hey, wait a minute. If you zoom in on that one fish right there,
Yeah.
is that a skirt and cat ears?
No, we don't. No, that would be a trans fish, not a gay fish.
Oh, sorry.
You've got to get that straight in your head, or I'm going to have to call you out for being transphobic. All right, let's get into some of this news tonight. Hopefully we're done with the freezing BS. I don't know why it's doing it. I've tried to mitigate that, and it still fights me. First thing I have in here, did anybody see Erica Kirk there at the White House today accepting the, what was it, the Medal of Honor? What was it? The Medal of, you guys didn't see it?
That
No, I
is
did
the
not see
Medal
that.
of Freedom.
Medal of Freedom, that's what it was. All right,
Right,
there.
yeah, and it is his 32nd birthday. It is also my brother Charlie's birthday, so happy birthday to Charlie.
And how old is Charlie? You're Charlie, not Charlie Kirk. He was 30.
Yes.
He would have been 32.
Not sure. I'll have to ask him.
For those of you in the audience, and
think he's
I'll do a
53.
callback to Rush Limbaugh callback for those of you in real Linda. The reason Larry doesn't know the exact age is because he didn't know he had that brother until last year.
Yeah.
Are you just speaking of the famous Rush Limbaugh?
Limbaugh.
Rush
Yeah.
Limbaugh.
Rush
yeah.
Boy, is he missed.
Oh,
Boy,
yeah.
no replacing him.
There's no
Well, no,
replacing him, but I'll tell you what.
There's no replacing Charlie Kirk either.
Right.
But that doesn't mean somebody's not going to step up and somewhat fill his shoes.
There's nobody replacing the personalities,
Right.
but there are a lot of other people that are doing a great job. You know,
Sure.
I listen to, of course, Infowars with Alex Jones and Harrison Smith, and then they got a new gal taking over the morning show. I love listening to Viva Fry, who has Robert Barnes, who is one of Trump's lawyers and an awesome lawyer, and has the 1776 law firm that they get donations to that law firm, and they take on a lot of pro bono cases
Yeah.
that deal with constitutionality and stuff like that. And then I listen to Tucker Carlson is doing a phenomenal job. The best thing that could have happened was Tucker being fired from Fox, because then there's no holds now. Now
Right.
there's no restrictions
yeah,
now.
he's free
He can't
now
be
to
told what to
really
do.
speak.
And he actually,
his
they
mind.
just dropped a interview with Alex Jones today. Great interview. Him and Alex just going back and forth for a couple hours. I listened to it earlier today. Great stuff. But those, and multiple other people, there's a ton of other people. They're different personalities. I think if Rush were still alive today, I think he would start to be antiquated, because he was a lot more, he pulled a lot of punches. He did mock the Democrats. He did point out a lot of government stuff, but he was that more diplomatic commentary.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I would say he was an elder statesman to the nth degree. He was an elder statesman that when he was up there talking, he could barb you and jab you, but even if you were a leftist and drank beer, probably a Bud Light,
But he
you
did
would
it
still
with-
want to have a beer with him afterwards.
And he did it with humor.
He did.
Yeah.
And he was great at that. Whereas a lot of our other people, you know, Bongino, before he became the train wreck of assistant director that he is right now, his podcast, I didn't tune in a lot to it,
Yeah, neither did I.
but
I was a big fan.
you know, it was the most popular podcast on Rumble before he left. And then, of course, now they're partnered with Steven Crowder, which I watch Crowder periodically. I don't watch him every day. He's got, you know, Monday through Thursday on a show. and does good stuff. But he, they do a good job there on Crowder, phenomenal job, and they got ratings. Crowder's next to, well, put it this way, Crowder is one of the number one live podcasters on the internet today. One of the, if not the number one, by his numbers. Millions of views. Alex Jones is number one news. In fact, they just launched a new app. The Alex Jones store launched a new Alex Jones app.
Oh, good.
And it actually slipped through because of all the pressure on Apple, the Apple Store. And you can't get to it by going straight to the Apple Store. You have to go to Alex Jones app. I think it's alexjonesapp.com or whatever. And then the app will direct you to the store to download it or have a download button. I downloaded it on my iPads immediately. I only have a couple of Apple products. The iPads do really good for the band mixing, to control the mixer, and to do a couple of these things up here. And I got a couple of them really, they were on sale. Mm-hmm. And I don't have to do a lot of other things with them. So those are good. They're a little bit more versatile than a regular tablet. Some of the tablets can be a little bit more limited, whereas the iPads do have some versatility. Anyways, I downloaded it right to the tablets immediately, or to the iPads immediately, and it went in 2 days or 2.5 days.
Yeah,
it went from being introduced to being the number one news app in the Apple Store.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, Alex Jones. I think it's Alex Jones News.
Let me write that down so I don't forget.
And it's supposed to be released to InfoWars here. Or not to InfoWars. It's supposed to be released to Android here shortly, and that'll be an app on there. I'll try to pull up here in a second. Tim's pointing out in the chat there, he likes to listen to Mark Dice, Paul Joseph Watson, and who's Benny? Benny, give me the last name on Benny. It's on the tip of my brain. It's not Benny Goodman. He was a band leader. Mm-hmm. But you're right. I think Rush Limbaugh was a unique character. I'll say this: Rush Limbaugh is the reason that there is a huge conservative voice still on AM radio. He revitalized.
Oh, he saved AM radio.
AM radio. He revitalized that and made it a. Would you put a J on there, Benny J? I don't need you to give me clues. I need you to tell me the last name. Tim's been doing an incredible job. I'll see if I can try to pull that up. I don't know if I have it linked over here on this computer. I don't even know if I have. Now he's doing like horse with me. He's giving me one letter at a time.
Okay, that's my homework assignment to get the Alex
Benny Johnson.
Jones.
I'm still trying to figure out how the gay fish are going to spend their $46. That's what I'm doing. But anyway, so Erica Kirk was at the White House today and accepted the Medal of Freedom on behalf of Charlie, who would have been 32. He was a month short of being 32. And I want to address this a little bit and get your guys' feed, just your conversation here while Larry texts over there, whoever he's texting. I've heard a lot of things, and I can't. Yeah, I got that right. Bingo says hello, and you'll get new followers tonight. Hell yeah! That's great. A lot of people have been sending me a lot of videos on Charlie Kirk's assassination, and there are some huge anomalies. There's some huge, crazy dynamics going on, and I get it. I get all of that. But then there's some other videos that people have sent me that just they're out there.
It's a stretch.
It's a stretch. And one of the big criticisms...
Conspiracy theories are
I get conspiracy theories,
yeah.
Right? How can he be shot with a 38 and his head not taken off? I mean, a 30-06. Yeah. 30-06 should have taken his head off. Yeah. How do you get just a hit and then a squirt coming out, and then the guys who are helping him and picking him up have no blood on any of them? And there's questions of a couple of their smiles, like the guys are not like don't look like they're in a serious situation where they should be, freaked out about this.
Well, the U.S. government has a history of
Faking shit, or
yeah.
at least taking, yeah. But also, you're shooting somebody with a 30-06, and there's a claim that was broken down. You don't break down a 30-06. This is not an AR where you can pop it apart real quick.
Yeah.
This is something where you literally would have to, use a lot of tools to pull the stock apart, pull the barrel. It's not something you break down. And it was his grandpa's, so that lends even more weight to the fact that it's supposed to be his grandpa's. But then the one in the picture is not his grandpa's. It's got a plastic stock, which was not what his grandpa would have had. So there's a lot of anomalies there. They didn't do a proper crime scene investigation. They didn't tape it all off. That should be taped off still today, as they do ballistics and figure out
what direction
where everything came from.
Yep.
And they literally were fixing the concrete the next day. There were guys grabbing cameras immediately as Kirk was literally moved from the behind that table. There are guys grabbing cameras off of things. You don't do that. Why haven't you released the camera footage from the actual Turning Point cameras?
Well, what troubles me is this sounds like something that would have gone on during the Biden administration.
Right.
How is that being allowed to
happen?
To corrupt
right.
the
right.
evidence?
The stories about the
where's Bongino or Bondi or whoever's running
correct.
that?
Yeah, and they came out and we got him. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
This kid.
His dad called.
No.
It wasn't his dad?
That was the initial story.
Oh.
Come to find out that he's been coerced, and he's got one of the best defense attorney teams in the country that's now defending him, and the FBI's kind of shitting a little bit because they know that they're not going to have an easy road to try to convict this kid, and he didn't confess. So, all the stuff we've been told has been turned upside down. I get all of that.
Okay,
and I've refrained from a lot of comment because we don't have all the facts and we don't have the information, and I appreciate the people that are just sticking with, hey, this doesn't look right, that doesn't look right, this doesn't look right, on the actual footage.
So have we gone from corruption to incompetence?
No, well, as far as the government dynamic, I think there's a bunch of that, but there's also, there was a lot of speculation immediately that Charlie had turned down $1.5 million, or no, 150 million, something like that. It was a big number because he was done supporting the Israel lobby. Obviously, we've discussed Netanyahu, which Netanyahu, as the prime minister, has nothing to do with actual Jewish people. Two separate things. Just like we had Biden for 4 years, who was a horrible, one of the worst presidents ever, doesn't mean we were bad Americans.
Right.
So there's a lot of great Jewish
it's not the people.
Correct. So, but there's a lot of things coming out about the anomalies in the assassination and what's really going on here. Was it a lapel mic that exploded and took him out? Was there something else going on? Why is his shirt balloon out? Again, a 30-06 is going to take his head off. At 200 yards, it's going to take his head off. I mean, that's the velocity of that bullet. It's 15, and it doesn't get lodged. Like they're saying that the bullet was lodged in his body. There's nothing going to stop that. There's nothing going to stop that. So there's a lot of anomalies. Now, same time, you shift it, and there's a lot of people coming after Erica and criticizing her, saying she's connected with Mossad, she was connected with that, she was a beauty queen in the pageant, and she was just set up. What's your message over there, Lane? She was set up just to be. She was set up to be married to Charlie as a plant and a whole bunch of. And I'm like, you know what? That's where you get over into speculation. To look at the video of the assassination and go, that's not lining up with the official story. That's one thing. I'm in 100%. Let's figure out the truth. To start to speculate that, here's my biggest thing, and you guys know, watching the show, lost Grandma Connie, my mom, in January. Okay, it was a prolonged battle with cancer. She made the decision a year before that, when they gave her a year to live, that she was going to live life to the fullest. And when her year was up, she was going home to be with Jesus. And she didn't tell me that until late November. Okay? And when that was after she got really, really sick.
Because she didn't want to burden you.
She didn't want to burden me. But I know how I dealt with that, grieving-wise. There were moments where I was thinking about an awesome time that we had together, and I'm laughing and remembering that, and the next minute, I'm melting down. And when we did the memorial service here, I wasn't a ball of tears and unable to cooperate, or unable to communicate or do things. There were moments where I got very emotional, felt it, went with it.
And I'm quite sure that somebody that is high profile, like Charlie Kirk, probably discussed this scenario
100%.
with his wife.
And she's, she was Miss Utah or whatever, right? She's been in the public eye. She's done all this other stuff. And she has the ability to have control of her emotions in public settings. And she knows that people are watching her. And what I don't like right now is some of the things that people have sent me is how they're implicating Erica. Now,
Yeah, I don't like it either.
There may be something to that. But don't speculate based on her. The majority of the ones that have been sent to me are speculating on her potential involvement in Charlie's assassination based on her grieving.
Right.
Well, I don't see her grieving that. You don't know what she's doing behind the scenes.
No,
you
you
don't
don't
know.
have a
You don't
clue.
know how much she's struggling with this. I watch her in that speech today with President Trump, and you can see where she's doing her best to hold things together, but allowing enough of her genuine emotions to come through so that people realize how much she's hurting.
Yeah.
That is not a fake person.
No.
Right. Right.
I've been playing piano just at church, okay, just during worship, and been so overcome by the presence of God that I could have just melted right then, and I had to do my best to keep it together because I'm in the presence of God and I'm playing. That's not the loss of life. That's not a traumatic experience of standing while your husband is assassinated and not knowing the dynamics of it, and your two little kids are sitting there, okay, and reliving that over and over again. This is me literally just playing a worship song in the moment and feeling the presence of God so heavy to where I have to control. If I'm playing the music and everybody else is in worship and I lose it right there, then what are they going to do? And what are they thinking? No, you keep going. The show must go on. Not that it's a show, but you have to.
You got to keep it together.
You got to keep it together because you're there. You know, when my grandson's crying over grandma, I can't melt down more than him.
Right.
I have to be his strength. Here's a woman with two small children who lost her husband in a worldwide horrific tragedy.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Horrific.
She is being strong when she needs to be, and behind the scenes, and she said it in multiple speeches, where behind the scenes she is having good days and bad days.
Right.
And you're going to have that. I had meltdowns over my mom months afterwards not because I was trying to suppress the emotion, not because I was trying to avoid my grieving process, but because something happened, and in those moments, my emotions came to the surface, and it was in a place where I just let go and didn't hold back.
Well, the way I see this, everybody's got an opinion, and just like everybody's got, how's the saying go? Everybody's got a butthole, and they're going to express their opinion. They have a right to do that.
Yeah, 100%.
But the audience has got to be cautious on what they consume and what they
Correct.
and what they accept as the truth.
You know, I do miss your mom. She was an incredible lady. She had a really good backhand, too.
She did.
She did.
I miss her every single day, dude.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure you do. I miss her, too.
you know,
She was a lot of fun.
she was a blast.
She was
and
a lot
she
of
was,
fun.
you
She
know,
wasn't afraid to speak up.
You know, and if you guys were around and watching the show back then, and Mom was on for a couple years, you know, if she was here today, she would tell you she wasn't on the show because she wanted to be a podcaster.
Mhm.
She was on the show because she was my number
support
one
you.
fan.
Yeah.
She came to my gigs. She came to rehearsals. She came to the parties. She was my number one fan. You know,
That's
I got
awesome.
2 stepsisters, you know, but I'm my mom's only child. And she was my number one fan.
Yeah.
And she was, when I was doing church services for years, she was right
in the
there.
front row.
In fact, the photo that we had for years on the front
me.
of the Facebook, the Heartland Fellowship Facebook page, was a overhead picture of my mom with her Bible open and her hands on there and her notebook next to her.
Oh, that.
I mean, she
loved
took notes on every message that I taught,
Nice.
and she loved it, you know, and it was fabulous. And so yeah, she was my number one fan, and I look at that and I go, I know how I feel about it, and I look at Erica and I go, you just watch. So I had time, you know, when she was on the decline.
Yeah, but in Erica's case,
This is a
snatched
sudden-
right from her.
Yeah. She's and they criticize her.
then-
She go, "Oh, Charlie's probably still alive. Look, she can't even." She said, "You know, Charlie's this and Charlie's that." She's speaking in like as if he's still alive. Dude, he was just assassinated. She wasn't. Didn't she may have had conversations, Charlie trying to prepare her, but he wasn't dying of a long-term cancer or something like that.
No, he was murdered.
So she's
right.
literally, I watched her today in that speech accepting the Medal of Freedom, where she says, you know, Charlie, he loved. She's correcting herself because he's in the past tense now.
Right.
She corrected herself. She's like, he's 30. He would have been 32 today. She's correcting herself because she's still in the vernacular of him being right there. And now he's not.
Yep.
And she does have a public persona. But look at this woman stepping up and being strong. And I've got other people in my life that I've told you guys before. One of my friends, Brandon Fry, and his dad Joe and his mom Robin, we lost Zach. Zach was 32. Okay, roughly the same. But Zach was killed on a job site. And I got the text the next morning. Zach, and I'm like, we were
No
just
way.
at Wings, etc. a week ago after hockey, eating wings and having beers, drinking beers. I'm like, what are you talking about? Zach's dead. Are you kidding me? And now his widow, Sierra, she's posting a ton of videos, you know, doing on Facebook. And I try to get on there and like them and check it, and they're just her. Sometimes she's feeding the chickens, sometimes she's playing with the kids, sometimes she's doing this, and I'll catch every one of them.
It's her effort to deal with her tragedy.
Exactly. And she never did that type of stuff before,
Right.
daily, but it's
yeah.
her mechanism.
And like I said, the thing is, whoever's expressing these views toward Erica, they have a right to do it. I think they're ignorant and misguided. But my warning would be to go out to the people in the listening audience to say, listen, this is flawed information. Don't buy it.
I think, you know, this is the one thing that discredits the I'm a conspiracy theorist. I find anomalies and shit all the time. And I go, nah, that doesn't line up. No, that doesn't line up. The flaw in the conspiracy theories is when you go from pointing out anomalies to then speculating and making connections that aren't there. Or inferring in people something that it's again.
And in time, eventually, the truth will reveal itself.
Right. It's along the same lines, in a different category, but along the same lines of don't ascribe to malfeasance that which can be chalked up to, what does it say? Malfeasance, ignorance, or just being a shitty. Don't chalk up malfeasance when it's just incompetence. That's the word I was looking for. Incompetence. Yeah. Don't chalk up to this that they had a grand plan to do something diabolical when it could just be incompetence.
Right.
And even on some of the things that I've seen, I go, yeah, that's an anomaly in the video. Is that incompetence? You know? No, I go back to 9/11.
And that's why I'm
Right?
yeah.
It's like, we know that Silverstein took out a double terrorist policy that had never been issued before, a double policy, one for each building, okay? We know that there was a ton of other anomalies that you can chalk up. Again, when there's a cover-up, what do? They clean up the scene, okay? With JFK, they washed the limo immediately. They didn't do ballistic analysis. They didn't do trajectory analysis. They didn't do any of that stuff, okay? 9/11, they took all the steel away as quickly as they could and shipped it to Japan to be melted down, right? Why wasn't the steel analyzed to see what chemicals were on it?
And how did the building, when
Dropping its own footprint at almost free fall speed. Steel and concrete.
If
Doesn't
it's
happen.
an explosion, you have an outward.
Correct.
Explosions go outward. This came like it.
Well, you see the pops coming out of the windows just before it goes down.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, that looks like controlled. And the reality
controlled
is,
yeah.
correct. And that building, if it was hit, and it did, any other building like that would have, the top piece would have broken off and done something. But it doesn't accelerate. And in the videos, you see acceleration.
Yeah, and that's how they do demolition.
Correct. And Building 7 was never hit. And they say that office fires from steel, from paper inside of steel file cabinets and concrete building and all sorts of stuff, that's going to fall at free fall speed. Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. And in fact, you have Silverstein on PBS documentary a few years, 6 months later, talking about it. He says, "Oh, so much loss of life that the guy said, we should just pull it. So I gave the go-ahead to go ahead and pull it." That's a demolition term. Pull it. And so you know that there's malfeasance. I got to catch up in chat over here. Tim said earlier, he said, are these the same people, the people that are posting this, are they the same people that debate if Christ was pierced in the wrist or in the palm? If it was a tree, he was tied, or an actual cross? Yeah, it's along that line. So I'll take a phrase from the movie JFK. These people are trying to extract nat shit out of Peppa. They're trying to dig out. It's like, stop, man. Listen, point out the anomaly, 100%. 30-6 would have taken his head off. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. But don't give me that because Erica's not a ball of tears every time she gets on a stage, that somehow she's a Mossad agent and involved in her own husband's assassination. That shit don't fly with me.
Right, yeah. It's, to me, it's nonsense.
It is, and it muddies the water of trying to get to the truth.
But I am surprised that these anomalies are not being investigated in a very thorough manner. Are they being investigated? And if not, why not?
I don't know. It's interesting to me, though, that we don't. I'm the type of person, this is just me, my bad. I'm a self-assured person. I'm confident within myself. And when I don't know something, I tell you. And if I have a vague understanding of that, I'll tell you. If I have a depth of research involved in it, I'll tell you. If I'm asked. These are all based on if I'm asked. That's part of being a witness, is you wait till you're asked. The word, by the way, I did a little show on that. A witness is the word witness in our New Testament and the word martyr in our New Testament translations is the exact same word in the Greek, martyros or martyrum. Okay?
Didn't know that. Learned
so
something
it's
today.
only translated like 8 times martyr when you're martyr Stephen in Acts. All right? Every other time it's translated witness. And what it literally means is to be a witness, to be somebody who saw something. So Stephen was a witness of Christ, quite literally, and became this. And so we've taken this word martyr and we've made it into this dynamic of being somebody who just dies for Christ. When the reality is it's somebody who witnessed Christ in their life, whether physically or whether, spiritually and metaphysically moving in their life. You witness what, I don't want to hear. We were talking a little bit about this, talking about spreading the gospel through the world, talking about it at dinner. And we didn't really go down that road. And I think what was your question was how was what do I think about the gospel message and spreading it through the world, and how does that relate with things? And what I come back with a lot of times is, well, gospel is gospel, Godspell, good news. That's the dynamic of the gospel.
I think my question was, is the gospel the presenting the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ, and each person's ability to accept that and acknowledge it and to become born again or saved, however you want to announce it.
I think
is that the critical key, and that everything else revolves around?
I think I would watch. I think I would couch it in that phraseology if it said the gospel of Jesus Christ, because then it is about the birth, death, resurrection, right?
Right.
But there's also dynamics where it just talked about the gospel. Paul even refers to it as his gospel. He personalized it, his gospel. And what I come back to is the word gospel is, again, the original Greek dynamic is good news.
Good news, yeah.
Correct.
Right.
And I look at this and I go, John wrote in 1 John, he said, follow me as I follow Christ. Okay? And he even says, it's funny, he says, follow me as I follow Christ. He doesn't even say follow Christ initially. He says, follow me as I follow Christ. Why? Because you need an earthly example of somebody following Christ to get an idea of the spiritual dynamic behind, because you're not gonna walk up day one and see the spiritual dynamic and have insight and hear the voice of God clearly and walk out the spiritual walk. You need to walk with somebody. That's why
there's a certain degree of faith that has to be part of that equation, but I know what you're saying.
And then the dynamic is as I said to you earlier downstairs, it's we're not called to make converts. We're called to make disciples of all nations.
Right.
Well, discipleship takes intimacy. Christ had his 12 close ones and then 72 others that he sent out. He had a group of people around him that he was with 24/7. I mean, it's pointed out in Scripture multiple times when he took time to go away from them.
Oh, okay.
It specifically says that he said, you guys wait over here. I'm going over there by myself to pray. Because he was with them 24/7 for 3 years. Yeah. Right there.
And they were getting on his nerves.
Well, probably. But I look at this dynamic and I go, what is the good news? Now, if it says the good news of Jesus Christ, absolutely. Yeah. But you know what? Sometimes walking up to somebody, in fact, case in point, I don't think he's listening tonight. But I've got one young man. I could show you his recent text messages he sent me. And he says, I'm quitting drinking. It's alcoholism. He says, it's consuming my life, and he says, I'm really struggling with this, but I got to get things straight. And he goes, you know what? I appreciate a lot of things you do. In fact, I'm going to try to be very discreet about this and read to you one of it. But I want you to hear this, because to him, I didn't need to preach Christ. I lived Christ in front of him. And then what I said to him was not necessarily giving back to him a Bible verse or a sermon. I gave him encouragement. I gave him some good news. I think
you're alluding to the fact that people don't care what you know until they know how much you care. Or
exactly.
That's saying.
Exactly. Let me read one of these to you. Let me go back up here. I'm scrolling back up because he was saying a bunch. This is impromptu.
What you working on over there, Larry?
Larry's texting everybody.
I'm
on the chat.
On the chat.
Oh, okay.
We have somebody that I don't recognize. Tom from Michigan. I was just welcoming Tom from Michigan to our show. But somebody had texted me wondering why. Oh, not on YouTube. Okay.
They text us why.
Yeah, it said that we're not on. Maybe she was watching us on YouTube, and YouTube went out. I don't know.
Should be all good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, should be good to go. Anyway, I was trying to get to it. I wanted to get to this one phrase. It said, "Oh, here it is." I just got to say, stay strong, keep your head up. Prayers and love from my family to yours. Love you, man. I idolize you. It's not a bad thing to say to some people. I idolize you and what you stand for. You are my role model, and I wish to learn from you as your knowledge is beyond mine. I love you, brother. See you. And there was one other one where he said, I love how unjudgmental you are, and it really allows me to be able to share what I'm sharing. And he was going back and forth, about his daily battle. And I said, that's one of the things I text back to him. He said, I said back to him, or text back to him, I said, it's a daily battle, but you just got one choice at a time. And it's about perspective. When we say we can't have something, we tend to want it more. When we say that we can have something, but it's not beneficial or good for us, it takes away the power of that negative drive. And we went back and forth, all this other stuff. But, that's just another person where I didn't sit down to him and say,
You got to
Jesus, 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 Jesus.
Right. But
I just loved him.
Right. And the love comes, like I said,
Yeah.
people don't care what you know until they know how much you care.
Exactly.
And so that's what we're to be about. And I understand that. But then it's incumbent upon us to share the gospel once we've done that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree. And it's that dynamic of when we're talking about good news, I go, what is good news to that person? Sometimes
Maybe it's something, a meal.
Sometimes it's, you're going to make it today, buddy. Just keep your head up. I mean, I have to say anything about Jesus.
Right, a word of kindness, a
and
meal to somebody that's hungry.
Well, I'm not ashamed of the gospel. It's the power of God unto salvation. I go, yeah. But you don't always have to throw Jesus down their throat to get them to see Jesus.
Right.
There are times when you can live a loving, it says, all the law and commandments are summed in these two. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. To love your neighbor as yourself.
Right, and I agree completely. But again,
Yeah.
once we've done that, then it's incumbent upon all of us to share the gospel, because how's it say? I forget the verse that how can people come to salvation if they haven't heard the word?
Correct. Yeah, and there's
That's
those
all I'm saying.
No, absolutely no, and I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying I come at it from a little bit different perspective. I'm going to live it out in front of you.
Yeah.
And I've had this experience more times than I can count, where people will stop me in wherever.
Yeah.
And they go, what do you have that I don't have? Why are you so blessed? Why is this going? Why are you always happy? Why is this? Why is that? I didn't walk around, and I've had other people that I've come across that go, oh, I'm happy all the time. Well, if you are, you don't have to tell me about it.
Yeah.
But they would walk around going, I'm happy all the time. I'm at peace all the time.
Yeah.
And I go, nobody asked, dude.
Yeah.
And
Nobody asked.
Nobody asked. And those are the people that I get that the message you're talking about is coming from your genuine heart. And I get that 100%, Joe.
Yeah.
But there's a huge majority of people that say the same words you're saying who are pushing it. They're not genuinely living it out. I know you.
Yeah.
I know your heart. I know Larry's heart. It's full of White Castle. But I know that I know your heart. So when you talk about sharing the gospel with people, you're not sharing the gospel from you've broken all the commandments and you're going to
I'm
hell.
a judgment, right?
Yeah,
it's
you're
not
not
from
doing
a
that.
judgment.
You're talking about, you know what? I want you to know the peace that I have.
I want you to know the peace I have, but it's also being obedient to Christ.
Yeah.
And
There's that equation.
That also means to be obedient to Christ. To follow the rules.
Yeah.
The way God wants us to behave, the way He wants us to act.
Well, do we love our neighbor?
Do we? Of course.
Would be the
Of course, but you love me as a brother, right? But if I call you up on the phone, I call you up on the phone. Hey, Joe, how you doing? Hey, listen, will you do me a favor? I told my wife I'm staying at your house. I'm going to my girlfriend's house. So if Darla calls me, will you cover? If Darla calls you, will you cover for me and tell her that I'm in the other room, and then call me, and then tell me to call her back? You know.
Larry, where's this coming from?
Well,
Yeah, that's a strange example.
that's
Would
what
you
it is.
say?
Aren't you taking part in somebody else's sin if you do something like that?
Well, no,
You wouldn't. You would correct me, right? You would tell me that you can't do that.
I would just say, Larry, you've been drinking the wrong stuff. Or smoking this wrong stuff.
You know,
but
that's
what I'm talking about. You know, being Christ-like. You know, also means, there's this misconception with Christians that it makes me pull my hair out. You know, it's like, oh, we're supposed to be in the world but not of the world. Well, it doesn't mean you ignore what's going on next door.
I'm trying to kill this fruit fly.
Yeah.
Sorry for the snap.
It doesn't mean that if you see something going on, you're supposed to call it out. You're supposed to shed a light on sin.
Right.
You're supposed to call it out in the public square. Say, well, that's not how you're supposed to.
Well, there's a scenario to that. There's a dynamic to that. I get what you're saying. It's when you have a problem with your brother, you go to him one-on-one.
I mean, look where the country is today, and a lot of it is because there's a lot of pastors that don't do their job.
Because they don't. Because this is a teaching that I heard for years in the church. Is that shepherds don't get close to the sheep. And I met a lot of pastors who kept their distance from their congregation.
Right.
And then there are other pastors who were coming over and inspect. I had one pastor. He came over, thought it was just a cool visit. Hey, man, good to see you. And he comes over and hangs out at the house. I'm in the sermon the next week.
Well,
I went over to Minister Jeremy's house and just for a visit over there, and I checked it out. He's a good man. I checked his house out. He's a good. And I was like, oh, that's what it was? Was an inspection? Oh, okay. How about we actually just hang out? And I've had pastors in the past where we had good relationships to where we could call them. And I think there's a huge a disconnect a lot of times with ministers. Because don't tell me that a sheep, I literally heard this from the pulpit, where they're like, well, shepherds don't get close to sheep. I'm like, what are you talking about? Shepherds smell like sheep. They lay down with the sheep and put a hedge of protection around them. And if one escapes, they make sure the rest of them are protected, and they go get that one, and they bring them back, no matter what time it is. And when they end up coming into town, because they're going to shear sheep, or they're going to sacrifice some sheep, they smell worse than the sheep. Don't tell me that pastors don't get close to their congregations, because you're a liar.
Well, let me share this with you, and I don't know how well this is going to be received, but first of all, a pastor's job is extremely difficult. People don't realize how difficult a pastor's job is. He's got to put together his homily or preaching. He's got to be concerned with his flock and how he's
got to be invested in their lives.
He's got to be invested in their lives. He's got to oversee the growth, the different programs, on and on and on, right? So they have a very difficult job. But I do find it troubling that the pastors are sometimes play to the audience, and they don't. For example, let me give you this example. I sent out a letter to every church in Livingston County and said, please, we need to make sure Prop 3 dies on the vine.
Okay.
And I said in my letter, I said, we're not supporting a particular candidate. We don't even have to express what party that we're siding with.
Right.
All we have to do is say, listen to the congregation, folks.
Prop 3 is dying.
If you believe in life and want the slaughter of innocent human beings to stop and not have Michigan become the #1 source for
Abortion.
the abortion bill.
Yeah.
All you need to do is say to your congregation, if you support life, please prayerfully consider who you're going to vote for.
That's not how I'd have said it.
Well, you post a lot of memes, Larry. We've discussed that.
Yeah,
I'd have told them straight up, you cannot vote for Proposal 3 and be a Christian. That's what I'd have told them.
and my question is, and the response was like crickets.
Yeah.
And so I asked myself, how is that? If the church can't stand up and be the church,
Right.
Right.
what hope have we got?
Right.
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 Well, and it should have been automatic. But again, listen, my church was incorporated in 2008, Heartland Fellowship. We did the assumed name underneath that of Heartland Fellowship Training Center because that's what it is. It was training leaders as well as holding Sunday congregations, Sunday services. We did that for about 8 or 9 years straight. There's a ton of videos online of us doing those services. We were accused by secular people of being a cult. We were accused by other religious leaders of any number of things. And everything's literally, they come in and go, you're a cult. And I go, we do everything online. We videotape all of our stuff. We post all of our stuff. How are we a cult? Because we had internships, because we had people that came in from out of state that stayed with us, we had an 8,000 square foot house with multiple bedrooms. So they could stay there.
Yeah.
It wasn't a cult.
Yeah.
It was people that wanted to be close to the ministry, and we had facilities where they could stay there, right? Either way, we're doing all of our stuff online. We're doing all of our things. And you getting some a call you got to take there, Larry?
I got something I got to take.
But my point is that you get accused of all sorts of stuff, right?
Yeah.
We were incorporated in 2008, and people go, well, you can't say anything political if you're a 501c3. Bullshit.
Oh, that's unconstitutional.
I-
If that was
I-
ever put to the
but I-
test, it would.
We were incorporated as a 501c3.
Yeah.
I had my board. We set up a whole board, okay?
Yeah.
And I said to my board team, I said, is there a better way to do this setup? And they said, not to our knowledge, we'll do more research. I said, okay, we'll do it. And they said, well, aren't you concerned if we do something political that it'll be, your 501c3 status will be taken? I go, no, they can take it. I don't care. And then on that, I, from the pulpit, said multiple times, different issues. I didn't tell people who to vote for. I gave the information, right?
Exactly.
Okay? And I've never had a challenge to our 501c3 status. Never, ever,
And
ever.
I think it was challenged once.
And they lost. The government lost. The
Right.
government lost. It's never been. So it's one of those lies that has been given to pastors. If you're 501c3, you kind of got to stay out. You've got to stay completely out of politics, or they'll take your status. Or you're going to take away my IRS status. The only reason I did this was because that's what it was recommended by my team. I didn't do this because I couldn't accept.
You weren't intimidated by their
Yeah. Here's what it comes down to.
false narrative.
I'm going to file my 501c3, so on your tax return, you don't have any pushback from the IRS saying that you gave to an organization that didn't have a 501c3 status.
Yeah.
It's
That's
stupid.
what it.
Your microphone just clipped. I got you. But that's the dynamic is a lot of those pastors have been lied to. It's still on you.
I'm looking for the clip.
No, it's still on you,
Oh,
Joe.
is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it came off.
And so, yeah, I guess that 501c3 intimidates a lot of pastors.
Yeah. See how the clip goes?
Yeah.
I'm going to wait for you to get it clipped back on, and I want you to say that again. It goes right in the middle.
That,
There you go. Clip it back on, and then I'll turn you back on. But, yeah, that's the thing is, a lot of these people, you're upside down, Joe. Turn it up, and then clip it back on. You can go up a little higher. There you go. But there's a lot of these pastors that get
intimidated
by it.
Yeah. And but what's political about saying if you don't believe in killing babies, prayerfully
No,
consider who you're
100%.
going to vote for. You're not naming a
I
name
never shied away.
or
Obviously,
a party.
doing this podcast, I've never shied away from political stuff.
Right.
You know, but there's a time and a place for teaching things. And the reality is when you have a connection with your people as a leader, you shouldn't be intimidated by any. The only thing I've ever been cautious about sharing with my people is something that I received over a multiple year or even decade process that I shouldn't share. Meaning, if I've been doing carpentry for 30 years, I can't give you a 10-minute synopsis of how to build a house.
Right.
I can tell you I've built houses. I can tell you some of the dynamics of building houses. I can give you some advices on a nuance on building a house. But I cannot download to you 30 years of experience and expect you to grasp that because you haven't been there.
Right.
You haven't been on the roof. You haven't been standing up a wall and have to back up and let it fall back down because you guys couldn't just pick it up, you know? Right. You haven't been there putting beams in the middle of the house. You haven't been there putting the floor joists in and sheeting the floor. I can tell you those dynamics, but the best time to tell you those dynamics is when I'm helping you build it.
Right.
Just the way that I had to experience it. And there's a lot of times with spiritual understandings, as Paul wrote, Jesus said it in John 15, 16, 17. He says, I have more to say to you, more than you can bear,
right?
More than you can handle.
Because I wanted to give you meat, but you weren't ready for the meat.
That's what Paul was saying, yes. Yeah. And Jesus in John 15, 16, 17, when he says that, he says, I wanted to give you, or I have more to share with you, but you're immature and you can't handle it. Right. He said, so I'm going to leave you with the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit's going to remind you of what I've said and teach you more stuff. Right. And so there's that dynamic of, I can't, that's the problem with the tree of knowledge of good and evil. People don't understand this dynamic. There's a tree of life in the garden, and there's a tree of knowledge of good and evil. And they're told not to eat of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. But they were also commanded to tend to and make fruitful every tree, including the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So they were supposed to tend to it.
But not eat it.
But not eat it. So when Eve says we're not supposed to even touch it, that was a lie.
That was a lie from the devil.
Correct. Well, she's the one who iterated it.
Yeah.
Even before the quote-unquote fall or eating of the fruit, she said a lie before that moment.
Okay.
So you have to look at the dynamic and go, what was it? When she saw that the tree was good for fruit and to make one wise, not the truth. The tree was knowledge of good and evil. There's a huge difference between knowledge and wisdom. I can get a lot of knowledge
that's true,
from reading a book.
Wisdom is, do you apply the knowledge correctly?
Correct. Yeah. And go through Proverbs. I love Proverbs. Wisdom is supreme.
Oh,
Therefore,
yeah,
get
I do.
wisdom.
That's
Get all your understanding. But there's a dynamic of they were supposed to tend to the fruit of the tree, make that tree fruitful, but not eat of it themselves. Well, who was eating of it? Well, the animals, the birds, everybody else, right? So they were supposed to make it fruitful. So the tree wasn't bad. And here's the ultimate lesson, okay? You can't shortchange or shortcut experience. And experiential knowledge is priceless. And book knowledge is cheap.
Right.
And it'll set you up for failure.
Right.
And what they did was they were tempted to eat of the knowledge instead of experiencing and gaining the knowledge while they tended to the tree. And that's what happens every day. Oh, you're going to read your Bible and you think you've got that, you've got it figured out. That's awesome to read your Bible. Do it every day. Get in there. Read a proverb a day according to the date. What's today? The 14th. Should read Proverbs 14 today. Tomorrow read the 15th. Whatever. And get into a cycle of where you're reading. I have the entire Bible, and then some extra canonicals.
Yeah, I've got one
on my
and
I can play it on my.
But the purpose of reading
Look at the top of my screen. What does it say?
Yeah, Genesis 36.
Yeah, I was going through Genesis again the other day.
But the purpose of reading and studying the Bible is so that you can say, okay, what is this speaking to me today? What should I be? How should I apply what I've learned
True.
to the way I live?
True.
Not just collecting knowledge
100%.
for knowledge's sake.
Not only that, when you're reading Scripture, understand that Paul wrote this in 2 Corinthians, and he said, the Spirit gives, the letter kills, but the Spirit gives life. So what is the letter designed to do? It's designed to kill. So that's why they were given the 10 Commandments. Not to give them life, but to kill that which affected purpose and destiny and where they were supposed to be going. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to read the Scriptures and other things because the letter itself kills. So here's a case in point. The Lord says to you, Joe, I've called you to do such and such. And you go, okay, Lord, I acknowledge that. Same way he said to Jeremiah, I've appointed you to be a prophet to the nations. Before I formed you in the womb, I called you and appointed you to be a prophet to the nations. Well, Jeremiah writes that down. The Lord said, I'm a prophet to the nations. Boom, 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 boom. He writes that down. Then the devil comes and he goes, did God really say what he said to Eve, right? That's what he said in the garden.
Yeah.
Did God really say? And Jeremiah picked that paper up and he goes, I'm going to kill your argument right now with the letter. The letter kills your argument. I'm going to show you this letter and prove to you. And I'm going to do it. What did the devil come to Jesus in Luke chapter 4? Did God really, or you have the power, turn these stones to bread. And what did Jesus answer him with?
Don't tempt.
Every single time Jesus quoted a scripture to kill the devil's temptation, his argument.
Right, yeah.
Exactly. He didn't give him a life-giving word. Now go through the whole rest of the Gospels, all 4 of our canonical Gospels, right? Mm-hmm. When Jesus is speaking to individuals, there's like 1 or 2 times where he actually quotes a scripture verse, and it's a rebuttal. Mm-hmm. All the other times, he's speaking in parables. In fact, his disciples so much, they called him out and they said, Lord, why do you speak to the people in parables and you don't tell us? He goes, I have to speak to them in parables because it's a riddle, and if they want to know more insight, they'll ask like you're asking, and so I'll reveal to you what that parable actually means. And you find that multiple times where he's explaining the parables to his inner circle, but to the people he's speaking in parables. Why? Quotes the scripture. Maybe ever seeing but never perceiving, ever hearing but never understanding, right? Then he comes back, and the times that he actually quotes scripture, the vast majority of the times, almost exclusively, is to the devil
When he's confronting
and
the
to the
devil
political and religious leaders.
Yeah.
Why? Because, as Paul wrote, the Spirit gives life. Well, I'm going to give the Spirit of life to the people that are coming seeking. I don't need to tell them.
You don't need the educated, the Pharisees, the Sadducees.
I don't need to tell these people that are coming and seeking, give them a synopsis on doctrinal accuracy. I need to give them.
Because they wore it on their heads.
Yeah.
And so they had the knowledge, but they didn't apply it.
But he had to be rebuked because he's like, wait a minute, you're the ones?
Yeah.
Okay, what did he do? What's the triumphant thing where he's in the temple and his reveal, right? The big reveal in the Gospels. And the scroll of Isaiah is rolled before him. And he reads Isaiah, right?
Yeah.
The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he's anointed me. And he goes through the whole thing. But then he stops in the middle of the passage to proclaim the acceptable year of our Lord. Well, the next phrase is, and the judgment of our God.
Oh.
He doesn't read the next line.
Right.
That's heretic. You don't stop in the middle. You finish the passage. He stopped, didn't finish the passage, and everybody reads in the text, no big deal that, they were offended or they were marveled at him that he, the passage. No. They marveled because he stopped at the acceptable year of the Lord because that's where they were.
Okay.
And he didn't finish the passage. And all of these religious leaders were freaking out because that's not how you do this.
Right. They were, They had the letter of the law.
Yes.
Down pat.
100%.
Memorized.
Yes.
Books of scripture memorized, but they didn't have the love that of people. Mm-hmm. It was all about the knowledge that they had.
Just do a really cool study on the woman at the well.
Oh yeah.
And go through and really dissect the dynamics there. She was a woman who was challenging authority from day one. And because of challenging authority, she didn't have a spiritual covering over her life, and she was toiling at her work. When he says to her, "You've had 5 husbands, and the man you have now is not your husband."
I love that. Yes.
You know?
Yeah, story, yeah.
And she says,
He's confronting her.
he's confronting her. But how is he confronting her?
He's confronting her with her sin, but he's doing it out of love.
Correct. And she's the one that approaches him. Or she's the one who says stuff to him. He approaches her and says, Can I have a drink?
Yeah.
And she says, "How can you ask me for it?" She's immediately offended.
Yeah.
She's like, "How can, you're and I'm what was she?
Well, because
Sadducee
in
woman?
that society,
Correct.
women were
Correct.
second class, and
Yep.
and she's going, "Why are
you even talking to me?"
Yeah.
And then he says, "Well, go." She goes, "Well, I can clearly see that you're a rabbi or a preacher." And he goes, "Well, go get your husband." And she goes, "Well, I don't have a husband." And he goes, "Oh, that's true. You've had 5 husbands,
Yeah,
and the man you have now is not your husband."
yeah,
And she goes, "Whoa." And she became his greatest advocate because he didn't call her out necessarily for her. We read it as calling her out for a sin. He called it out for her core heart defect, which was not operating in the right authority. She was standing there. He asked her for water because in that moment, she was the one with the authority to either give it or not.
okay,
He identified her authority in that moment. Then, when she pushed back against that with rhetoric about societal dynamics, then he started to call her out on stuff. Then she recognized his
supreme,
his
presence.
prophetic nature, and that she goes, "I can clearly see you're a prophet." Did you lose your
Yeah, I think
headphones?
I think
I can get you a battery here in a minute.
When he wasn't calling her out, he was informing her of her need, of the deep need that she had, that she.
When he goes, "You've had 5 husbands, and the man you have now is not your husband," he was identifying you have had a problem with authority in your own life. And when I asked you for a simple thing like a drink, you asserted your authority and tried to belittle me, and I'm going to call you out on it. That's deep, deep spiritual insight into somebody you're walking up to.
Right.
The vast majority of the people in the church don't have that. They're very surface level. They're very crass. They don't invest in people's hearts. And then we read that passage, and it's very surface level to a lot of people. And they don't see those depths of dynamics that Jesus wanted to get to the core
He was
of
drawing
her authority. You know what? I'm going to grab one of my Bibles.
He was drawing
right where
her
I
out.
Yeah. I'm going to get you 2 batteries, and I'm going to grab my Bible.
Okay.
Just walking off camera in just a second. We can pop those here. You can pop those open, Joe. Throw those in. I want to read that passage real quick. Tim, will you tell me what? Can you look up real quick if I don't find it fast enough? The woman at the well. I'm going to flip through my pages real quick. I don't have the exact passage off the top of my head. And I want to say it's in Matthew, but I'm in Matthew and Mark. But will you, I know Tim's listening. The analogous of living water. Oh, I love that dynamic. You got it, Joe?
Yep. I finally figured it out.
Let's see. I'm trying to get to it. I want to get to this. I didn't expect to do this, but there's so many cool little passages. You know, I've been studying Scripture since I was 15. I'm about to be 53. And
One thing I'll say, and first of all, I learn things if I from you, and I appreciate it. Am I back on? I think so.
there you go. You can hear it.
But I appreciate the respect that you have for people and their opinion. And so having you share your thoughts with me,
Yeah.
I'm open to receive them because of the person that you are. So I just wanted to say
Oh, I appreciate that, Joe. No, you know what it comes down to is I really take to heart the passage where it says, a bruised reed I will not break, and a smoldering wick I won't snuff out. I've been in situations where I knew somebody was incorrect in what they were thinking, but if I would have
you're wrong.
correct,
Yeah.
then I destroy them. I would destroy. Listen, if all you've got is this little grasp in the realm of faith to hold on to, and I destroy that one grasp that you have, what do you have left?
Yeah. Nothing.
No. So a bruised reed I won't break, and a smoldering wick I won't snuff out. Meaning I'm going to be gentle with people, and I'm going to acknowledge that I may not acknowledge that somebody's belief is correct, but I'm going to acknowledge their genuineness in that belief.
Yeah.
You genuinely believe that.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now let me share something with you, and it's interesting. So I was trying to get to that. Maybe there's a reason I'm not getting to it. I asked him to find that one.
Google the verse.
Yeah, there's a divine reason. You're right, Tom.
Are you looking for Google the verse?
Yeah, the woman at the well. Well,
The woman at the well.
yeah. Larry's back with his sexy vest. You got everything figured out, Larry?
What chapter in the Bible is a woman in the well depicted?
There you go.
Okay, I found this on the web. For what chapter in the Bible is a woman in the world depicted? Check it out.
Woman in the world, woman at the well. Did it give it to you?
Now let me try again.
Woman at the well.
In what book is the woman at the well in the Bible depicted?
I'm going to find it as soon as you get it.
I found this on the web. For in what book is the woman at the well in the
John
Bible
4.
depicted? Check it out.
John 4.
Yeah. But
Okay.
doesn't say what verse.
No, I'll find it. I've got it out. Look at my Bible, Joe.
Oh.
As soon as I knew what passages was, it's already. You see
Oh,
my yellow
yep,
highlighter right there?
Yep, I do. Okay.
Listen to this. So verse 7, John chapter 4, verse 7. A Samaritan woman came to draw water. Will you give me a drink? Because his disciples got on. The Samaritan woman says, you're a Jew and I'm a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink? She's asserting her authority.
Yeah.
Okay? And Jesus answered, he says, if you knew the gift of God and who's asking you for a drink, you would have asked him and he would have given you living water. So he pushes back with truth on her,
Yeah.
but he's enticing her. She pushes back on her. She's asserting her authority in that moment.
Out of attitude.
Out of attitude. She's giving her, who are you to talk to me?
Right.
Yeah. And that's her dynamic. Remember, she's had 5 husbands, and the guy the husband she's sacked up with ain't her husband, And he says, I'm going to entice you with some living water. And she goes, wait a minute, sir, you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. How can you give me living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us from the well and drank from it himself, and also his sons and his flocks and his herds? And he said, everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks the water I'll give him will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give him will become in him a spring of water welling up to eternal life. And the woman said, sir, give me this water. She's still in her authority. That's where her identity is, in her asserting her authority. The 5 guys, I guarantee you, all 6 guys, the 5 husbands and the guy she was with, she was the wife from hell. She was probably hot and attractive, right? And controlling as could be. I didn't use a certain phrase. The woman said, sir, give me this water so I won't get thirsty and have to come back. And he goes, okay, I got you. Go call your husband and come back. She says, I have no husband. I love it. One of my audio Bibles that I have, they add a little pause. I have no husband. They do this little dramatic pause.
And let me say this real quick, Jeremy. For the people that might be listening that aren't really familiar with the Bible or think it's boring or dry, there's some funny stories in the Bible.
There's some hilarious stories in here.
Like this.
Again. And what is it meant to do? Again, 2 Corinthians chapter 3, the letter is to kill. What is it killing? Misunderstanding, lack of purpose, dangerous situations, but then you still have to go to the Spirit to have life. We've been made ministers of a new covenant, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. Because they lived on the letter, and they figured as long as they were following the rules, they were good.
That was the Sadducees.
And Jesus goes, you can follow that.
Yeah.
I have a buddy years ago, him and his wife, she had an affair. And we were with him. We were doing construction with him. And he's, there were times when we walk on the job site and we weren't swinging hammers. We were doing a counseling session because he's a believer and he's going to save his marriage and he doesn't understand and he doesn't do this. And he gets counseling. They went to a counselor. The counselor says, okay, I need you, the wife, to write down your, what you have an expectation of your husband, and write down the rules. And I need you, husband, to write down your expectation of, and so they write out what they have an expectation of each other for the rules.
Yeah.
This is what I expect you to do for me, and this is what I expect you to do for me.
Which kills, by the way, a lot of marriages, expectation.
And so they write down these rules, and within a year they were still divorced.
Yeah.
He's remarried, happy as can be.
Mm.
She didn't, I don't know whether she got remarried, but she was miserable because she went down that road.
Yeah.
They tried to operate a marriage on rules instead of relationship. That's why Jesus said all the law and the commandments are summed in these two. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Yep.
If you listen, how much do you love yourself?
That's
okay.
Interesting question.
Correct. Now, just think about it for a minute. That is the abstract or that's the level that you love your neighbor. So when you find yourself unable to forgive, unable to respect, unable to give the benefit of the doubt,
to yourself,
to your neighbor.
To yourself first.
It says love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Right.
And I taught a series. There's actually a message I have. If you guys have seen the show in the past, Tisha Jones has been on the show. Tisha recorded me back in 1999. I have the VHS tape in a box around here. Okay.
Yep.
And the message was, sin is not your problem. Why? Because in Romans chapter 14 and 15, it says that anything that's not of faith is sin. Well, so if you're not operating out of a place of faith, it's automatically sin.
Let me ask you a question. Can you love somebody before you love yourself?
No. Because that love comes out of it. And that's what I'm saying is, I was teaching this message, and at a certain point I stop and I go, I know why you don't like me.
Yeah.
Hypothetically or ethereally. I said, I don't know why. I know why you don't like me. You don't like you. Because if you like yourself, it's very difficult to come across somebody that you can't like. They have to be hardcore assholes for you. And even then, it's not you that's not trying to extend the olive branch and like them. It's them that can't come your way.
And it's not about being
so miserable.
It's not about being haughty or having a superior attitude.
It's the exact opposite.
So that's why liberals are so miserable. They don't like themselves, so they can't like anybody else.
That's the number one thing. They don't like themselves. That's why they got to shout at you to try and prove they're right, because they know in their heart of hearts they're wrong. And if they can get you to bow down and worship at their little false idol, then they feel better about themselves. They'll cut them, like Elijah confronting the prophets of Baal. They'll cut themselves and slash and cry out to their God, and at the end of it, the Lord's going to consume it.
I've knocked on much more than 10,000 doors for political candidates or causes or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe 20,000 now that I think about it. But
you're hardcore, Joe.
But the thing is, and it's mind-boggling that the Dems, you can almost tell, you don't have to ask them. A Democrat lives there, he lives there, and that, because those three doors, they were as nasty and rude.
Oh, 100%.
And you talk about Dems are supposed to be enlightened and compassionate.
They're the people of compassion.
Yeah, now, and for the most part, the doors that I have knocked that were Democrats behind them are exactly as you speak.
Yeah.
But I have.
Well, and I say, why
I have run across some Democrats that aren't like that.
Yeah.
There's an exception to the rule.
Yeah.
100%. Let me finish this passage real quick and get to a quick summary, and I know Larry's got some. You got some lightning round over there, Larry? We haven't hit half the things on here, but I love the dialogue.
Yeah, just keep going with the dialogue, and I'll
Find
look with that.
your Midwesterner.
But to give you an update on that phone call,
Yeah,
that was Lena Epstein that I just booked for the show.
I saw the phone.
Oh,
I read it upside down.
you read it upside down.
That's good. You want to tell the audience who Lena Epstein is?
Well, Lena Epstein is a good conservative woman. She is from the West Bloomfield area. She is running for regent
Okay.
for U of M.
Okay.
Okay, she's run a couple times before,
Yep.
and she's going at it again. And she gave me a call, and I'm going to support her for U of M regent. And I'm going to be reaching out to some other people for the show in the future. So we're going to
Hell yeah.
have some
And
Sunday
Shane
shows
Trejo
coming
has
up.
booked somebody for this coming Sunday.
Yes.
I'll have to look at my phone and see who it is and try to give you guys an update. Let me finish this. So he calls her out, and he says, "Go call your husband. Come back." She says, "I have no husband. I have no husband." And Jesus responds. He says, "You're right when you say you have no husband. Fact is, you've had 5 husbands, and the man you're with now is not your husband." Meaning he was a husband of somebody. So she's shacking up.
With a married man.
With a married man. What you have said is quite true. She says, "Sir," listen to this. Listen to the deflection. "Sir," the woman said, "I can see that you're a prophet. Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, but you Jews claim that we got to go to Jerusalem and worship in Jerusalem." She's deflecting. She's dialing.
Change the subject.
But she's staying on authority. She's calling out authority. You Jews say we have to go worship in Jerusalem.
But she changed the subject.
Well, she changed the subject, but she's staying on the core identity of authority, right?
Right.
And then Jesus says, Jesus declared, "Believe me, woman, a time is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem, but in Samaria. You Samaritans, neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. You Samaritans worship what you do not know." He called her out. I have a book over on my shelf over there, above the gay fish. It's called Religious Illiteracy by Stephen Prothero. And the opening passage in there, the preface of it, it says that American Christians, not just Western Christians, but predominantly American Christians, are the most zealous and ardent believers in the world. And their veracity, their fervor is only matched by their absolute ignorance.
I knew where you
of
were
what
going.
they believe.
Yep.
And
you were going.
it's like, you Samaritans worship what you do not know. We worship what we do know, for salvation is from the Jews. Now, if you guys don't know, Samaritans were half Jews. Okay, it's not like they didn't have a partial share. Yet a time is coming and has now come when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For they are the kind of worshipers the Father seeks. God is spirit, and his worshipers must worship in spirit and in truth. And then she responds. The woman said, I know that Messiah, called Christ, is coming. And when he comes, you'll explain everything to us. And Jesus goes, I who speak to you am he. He's like, yeah, I'm doing my best to speak it.
Yeah.
So what you can infer from this story, and this is the passage we have, you can infer from this story, she was one of those ladies that went around and threw her weight around. Guarantee it, okay? Mm-hmm. She had 5 husbands, and then she was shacking up with another guy. That's bold, all right? There's a couple passages in Proverbs talking about how the adulterous woman is bold and brazen. She runs around the city and does her thing. But the core of the dynamic, he was getting at the aspect of, you don't understand authority, and that's why your life is so messed up. You're not in the right dynamic of authority. That's why you're bullying people. That's why when I asked you for a drink of water, you didn't just simply lower your bowl and give me a drink of water. You couldn't do a kind thing. You couldn't just be nice. You had to say something something nasty to me. Mm-hmm. And so I called you out on it. And his purpose above all that was just to get her to a place where she worshiped. It's one of the most powerful sayings that he says to a woman that is oblivious to the concept. Worship in spirit and truth. And then, in fact, if I go to it, I want to go to it because she's the one that comes and goes, come and see a man who told me everything I ever did.
Right.
She became one of the greatest advocates
for
because
Christ,
she
yeah.
finally submitted to a man of authority and listened to his words, and it changed her dynamic. And that's when she stepped into her true authority.
But the dudes that she'd been hanging out to that point didn't have this spiritual awareness.
And I guarantee you she was bullying them and miserable. You got 5 husbands, you're miserable. You've had a miserable life.
Yeah.
You got one husband that you're faithful to and he does his job and you do your job. It's a blessed marriage. It's one of those marriages where you go, she's kicking ass, he's kicking ass. Read Proverbs 31 about the virtuous woman. She's running her own business. She's taking care of her family. She's called blessed at the city gates. There's all these dynamics of how badass she is. All right? Mm-hmm. That woman, she's like, I'm coming to get water.
Well, because finally she ran into somebody that had the courage to challenge her and to tell her things that nobody else could possibly know.
Correct. And again, assess that dynamic, read it for yourselves, okay? That's good news. But it was good news based on a prophetic insight into her life. Mm-hmm. And yes, it does have huge spiritual dynamics in that passage. But there may be times when you come across somebody and you're just speaking life into them. And it's not necessarily Jesus, 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 Jesus. It's life, life, life. Well, who is life? Jesus.
Yeah.
He is the life.
It's like
right? So I don't always have to say the name or push the icon to get you to buy into the product. Do you get that? Yeah. I don't always have to say the name and push the icon or put the emblem in front of you to get
let me
core
ask you
product.
This. Let me ask you this, and we talked about this. When you're in a corporate setting, a church, right? Mm-hmm. And the preacher's up there, how do you make that deep inner connection with people when they're to strangers that people you may have never met or you don't know that well? How do you make that deep connection with them so that it opens their heart and mind where they're acceptable to what the message is?
Number one, you have to listen to the Spirit of God. And I'm speaking of your hypothetical or your real world scenario is somebody's on a platform and how do they connect to the congregation and to the individual people? You have to listen to the Spirit of God.
Well, it starts with prayer.
Well, it starts. We're back. Okay, we're back. So I was saying that there's a couple times in the Gospels where it says where Jesus is sitting with a group of people, and I like the phrase that's used in the Gospels. He says, "Now then," is the phrase. Now then, you say such and such and such and such, and then it cuts, and he answers the question they never verbalized.
Right.
And when you're young, when I was young, I think, wow, what a spiritual. And Jesus goes, no, that's not. Listen. You walk through multiple neighborhoods, and whether you saw a visual thing or not, you knew by your spirit which houses were left-leaning and which houses were right-leaning. Just in your spirit. Well, be a minister that's your flow every day, and you're sitting in your congregation, you're going to hear questions in people's hearts. I've been in the middle of a great message, and it got better because the Holy Spirit goes, answer this question for that person. And then they walk up and go, how did you know I was asking that question? I go, because I'm connected. Now that person is going to listen to the next thing that I'm going to say to them and take it to heart and be even more encouraged and more empowered to draw closer to God. Because they're like, well, if that dude's hearing a question I never answered that I was sitting there in the chair asking, I got to tap into this. What's going on?
Because you were pliable with the Spirit.
100%.
And
100%.
Listen, it's the Spirit that
100%.
You plant the seed, the Spirit does the watering.
I get up one morning, Sunday morning, And at the time when we were doing full-time ministry, I would do my meditation all week long, and I would prepare. And sometimes I was in a series, multiple part series. Sometimes, but I would just meditate on it. I get up this particular Sunday morning, and I go to grab, and I have multiple Bibles, right? Because this is a NIV from 1973 version NIV. This is a New King James. I've got a bunch of other Bibles that I like, and I like different translations, and I've got my Greek and Hebrew interlinear Bibles, so I can go to the original context, and I've got my Strong's Concordance, so I can pull up the original word, read the definitions.
And I've got Google.
You've got Google.
Yeah.
So I'm ready, and I'm getting up, and I'm getting prepared to go to service, and the Lord goes, leave your Bibles at home. And I'm like, the physical? Because I'm remembering Scripture anyways. He goes, leave your Bibles at home. Okay, Lord. So I get in there and I teach a whole message. I don't quote a single scripture, but there's scriptural truths within everything that I'm teaching.
Right.
Well, there was a lady there with her grandson, and she was invited by one of my other people. And she shakes my hand after service, everything like that, goes away. And she says to the person that invited her, well, I really liked what he had to say in his message. It was a really good message. But it really bothered me that he didn't open his Bible or quote a single scripture verse the entire message. So I won't be coming back. That really bothered me. And I went,
wait a minute.
Wow.
Yeah.
I went, okay, Lord. All right. So he literally had me not bring my Bibles so that I couldn't have stopped and turned to a passage. And I didn't quote it. But if I don't quote to you, hey, man, if I don't quote to you the exact scripture verse, but I say, you know what? You got to love yourself before you can really love other people the way that you need to love them. In order to love those other people, you got to figure out how to love yourself. Right. And the way that you love yourself is by getting a little bit out of yourself and loving God unconditionally and going, you know what, God, you did everything for me. You set your son for me. And so I got to receive that kind of unconditional love in order to realize how loved I am by you. And then I got to love myself like that. And then I can start loving the people around me. Well, isn't that love the Lord your God, all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, love your neighbor as yourself? But I didn't quote the scripture, and I gave you an expanded thing without giving you the words. But I said the biblical truth, right?
Right.
And I did that whole message, and the point is she never came back because her heart was not towards learning. It was about the rules and the indoctrination, and it was about that dynamic. It was not about learning something powerful. There were more people, honestly, Joe, there were more people that I asked to leave our congregation. I can't even remember the number. But I turned to certain people, and people go, well, that's kind of rude. Jesus fed 5,000 men plus women and children. Could have been 20, 30,000.
Yeah.
They had big families back then.
Right.
5,000 men, each man could have had 5 kids. That's a lot of people.
Right.
What did he do when they followed him the next day? He rebuked them. He said, you're only following me because you got a free meal. Work for that which lasts. Mm-hmm. And they kept, trying to, and he weeded out immediately. He fed them. He honored them. We look at the miracle of feeding the 5,000 and we go, oh my goodness, 5,000 men plus women and children. We go, wow, that
we
huge
pay attention
miracle.
To the physical.
And he goes, and the next day, because they followed him around, he rebuked them and said, you're only following me because you got a free meal. So there were people in my congregation back then that I said, you're not learning. You're not growing. You need to go somewhere else. I love you. I'm going to give you a hug. But you need to go to another church where you can just sit and feel good about hearing a message. I want people who are applying the message. I want people who are taking what I'm saying and going and researching it for themselves and coming back with more questions. I want people who are living it out. When I taught my class, I developed a 15-week college course called Spirit-Led Leadership. And the first half hour after the first class, the second week, the first half hour was everybody sharing briefly
what they learned
through experience. Because every time you're taught something new by the Lord, truly a spirit infused teaching, you'll be challenged and tested on it the next day.
Yeah.
That's James chapter 1.
Yeah.
That's James chapter 1, man. Each one is tested, his faith. You know, the testing of your faith develops perseverance. So what's my faith? Faith comes by hearing the word of God.
The word of God.
Well, John chapter 1, verse 1, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word was with him. John 1:14, and the Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. So faith comes by hearing the Word of God. What are you hearing the voice of God for you today? Because what you hear today, you'll be challenged on tomorrow. There'll be a test. And when you pass, you're going to keep getting that test until you pass it.
Yeah,
and then when you
true.
pass it, you move on to the next level of faith. And it's all about not making you a better Christian or better. No, it's about getting you more and more into your purpose and depth of relationship with
That's
God.
why they were 40 years in the desert going around in a circle, because they didn't pass the test. They didn't.
100%. 100%. And when the mountain was lightning and flashing and basically it looked like a volcano eruption, right?
Yeah.
That's what its description
When
is.
Moses was up on the...
And Moses is going up to it.
Yeah.
Right? What did
Right.
the people say? They said, we're afraid. So just give us the rules. We can't face this God. Moses walked up and faced God.
Right.
His face was glowing so much he had to put a veil over his face. That's how intense the glory of God was on him. Yeah. And they said to him, we're afraid. Just give us rules and we'll follow them. And they didn't. They never have. They've never followed. You can't do relationship with rules, because relationship goes beyond rules. Mm-hmm. You walk in and you go, well, honey, you told me I only had to do such and such. And she goes, yeah, well, you could have gone beyond that. And she goes, well, there's your dinner. And he goes, did you make it with love? It seems like there's a little bit of hatred on the side of this meal here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, well, but I followed the rules. No, you don't get life out of following rules. You surpass the rules. That's why
Well,
all the law and commandments are summed up, surpassed,
But
fulfilled.
but isn't there a dynamic to doing things that allow you to be obedient to God?
Correct, but what is that true obedience? When you've had situations, you're a married man, you've had situations where I guarantee you did something above and beyond what your wife literally asked you. Wasn't that obedience?
That was obedience.
But you went far beyond it, and she was pleased by it. Go through our scriptures again, and how many times the Lord says, "I'm pleased with you," right? Doesn't He rebuke the one guy, and He says, "Well, Lord, I did this," and He goes, "You wicked and lazy servant, you did only what was required."
Okay.
So when we sit back and we do what's only required, He goes, "Oh, you think you're justified because you did what was required? You think that's obedience? I want you to know my heart. I want you to go beyond yourself. I want you to stop in those moments and reflect and go love on somebody even though it fights against every fiber of your being."
And I just want to say this. I really enjoy the dialogue, the back and forth, but I appreciate most that I'm learning as I'm sitting here, and you're opening up truths that I haven't considered enough, maybe to this point, and I need to reevaluate. So thank you for what you're doing, and the audience, I'm sure, is
It's a different flavor of what they're
accustomed to.
Well, again, I started this podcast because I wanted to talk about anything. Mm-hmm. I'm passionate about a lot of things. But number one, like I said, I got my first interlinear Bible when I was at 16, almost 17 years old. Okay, I've been studying for years, but I've been living this life for years. Right. I can tell you where I was when I was praying, and my friends were calling me an evangelist. My church friends were calling me an evangelist because I was ready to pray with anybody. I was ready to, what do you need? What do you this? And they're like, oh, you're an evangelist. You know what I got for my senior year in high school? I only had a class of 14. And so the other 13 people would get together and decide what a good gift is for that 14th person. So right?
This must have been a
So
Christian school then.
so I was with the 13 groups, right? And then that group of 13 got together. You know what they gave me at the senior banquet?
No.
A check.
A what?
A check.
A check.
A check. A fake check.
Uh-huh.
Because they thought I was an evangelist.
Oh, okay.
So what do evangelists need to keep doing their ministry? They need a check. That's what they saw in their heart was, oh, you're just out there always ready to pray with us, ready to help, ready to do anything. So you must be an evangelist. Well, I'm in my prayer closet one night, and I said, Lord, my friends are saying that they think I'm an evangelist. Like and he goes, so the passage where it says, be still and know that I'm God?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Lord phrased it to me in a way that I could grasp it and really judge the weight of it. He said, sit down and shut up, which is be still and know that I'm God. Sit down and shut up, because I was a hyperactive kid. So I sat down, and he said, I've called you in the spirit of Jeremiah and Ezekiel. It's literally the phrase at 17 years old. He said, I've called you in the spirit of Jeremiah and Ezekiel, and I want you to read those two books, Jeremiah and Ezekiel, and I want you to take to heart what is written in there, because that's the spirit I've called you. And I did that. So that was me being called to be a prophet and a teacher at that age. I didn't know a single prophet. I wasn't in those church circles where anybody was prophetic. But I knew that there were times when I was sitting with people and I just knew what they were thinking. And I knew what the Lord wanted me to share with them at that moment. I had no other concept. And I'd go, okay. I said, this is what I'm hearing. And I would say, and they'd be, then that look in their face, they'd be like, how do you know that? I go, this is the Lord sharing it with me, Mm-hmm. And so I grew in that spirit, in that dynamic. Did I make mistakes? Of course. You can't do this without making mistakes. But I learned, and I kept growing, and I kept listening, and I kept growing, and kept listening to the Lord. And I found that this is so much about a depth of relationship with God and not about being hung up. Yeah, there are certain things you should, there are times when I get done with the show and he goes, you might have gone a little too far there. You might want to dial it back a little bit on some of that stuff. And I go, okay, Mm-hmm. And there's other times, man, when I get done and I'm just walking and I'll catch my reflection in the mirror and the Lord will say,
well done, good and faithful servant.
And it melts me.
Yep.
Because as long as he's pleased with me, I don't give, as crass as I can be about it, I'll give two shits what anybody else thinks.
Right on, brother.
And that's why I do it.
Yeah.
But I did church services for so long
Mm-hmm.
that I felt pigeonholed or bottled into being that people had a certain persona
Dogma.
of you. They had a certain persona of you. And I found this out about 8 years ago. When I was playing hockey. And the guys, all of a sudden they go, oh, you drink alcohol? And I go, yeah, but I don't like beer. It's not a religious thing. I don't like beer. I don't like the taste. I grew up around a bunch of beer drinkers in my family. I tasted it. I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, what do you like? I was like, I like cider beers. So they started buying me cider beers. And they're like, well, hell, we'll give you cider beers. So now I get my own special drinks. Funny thing is, I got 4 or 5, 6 guys in my locker room now that go, did they get you some of those? They like my drinks now more than they like the other ones, But there was this persona. A lot of guys would call me preacher. What's up, preacher? Yeah. And I had one guy, he come at me one time and he goes, he starts going off at me about that. I goes, and I looked right at him, I goes, have I ever preached to you? Stopped him dead in his tracks. He goes,
No.
Well, no. I said, then why are you coming at me this way? That's your own heart dealing with you. That's not me, buddy. And you need to assess that and deal with your own stuff. And he went, okay. Because I never went at him. I'm going to live my life.
Yeah.
You know? And he was the same guy. He's like, you cuss more than any preacher I've ever known. I said, how many preachers you've known? Well, I go, you cuss more than any plumber I've ever known. He goes, okay. and we had this good banter back and forth, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, if you think my cussing or having a drink with you, you cuss and have a drink, and you don't think two things about it. But if I cuss and have a drink with you, somehow you're going to point a finger at me like I'm doing something wrong? What that was saying was he knew he needed to be an example, and he felt like he was failing, so he was going to point at an example he thought I should be to him. There's dynamics in everything we do, man. And if we don't recognize these things, it's like, listen, like just like Erica Kirk, right?
Yeah.
You deal with your own shit, you live your own life, but you also recognize other people are watching. Larry, you ready with your lightning round?
Well, I wanted to talk about some news. So, yeah, you ready? So, Democrats have voted for the 8th time
To
to
suspend the government?
shut down the government.
Yeah.
They're expected to vote one more time, which would be a 9th time tomorrow,
Okay.
right? And we'll see if Alyssa Slatkin still wants to shut down the government tomorrow.
100%. And Trump, through an executive order, dispatched all the funds to the troops.
Did he?
I'll pull it up.
All right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Trump has signed at least one executive order that I know that he's going to fund the troops specifically,
Okay.
so that they don't miss a single paycheck for being on the streets, because he's dispatching the National Guard throughout this country to aid in ICE in removing all these
Well, while you're
illegals.
looking at that, if you
Yeah, go
wanna,
ahead.
if you
I
want
got
to
you.
cut to my computer,
Yep.
this is just
Just
the
news?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Supreme Court declines to hear case over Michigan 2020 fake electors. Do you know why?
Why?
There is no case. It got dismissed.
Oh, so it was the AG that presented it.
No,
Who presented it?
this was an appeal by one of the electors. Okay, so the
Okay.
U.S. Supreme Court declined to take up a case involving Michigan's persecution of so-called fake electors who asserted that President Donald Trump won the state of Michigan in 2020. Trump lost most of swing states in 2020, though many Republicans, himself included, disputed the integrity of the contest in light of the COVID-19 era mail-in voting procedures, which were crooked.
Correct.
Several state GOP groups submitted alternative slates of electors insisting Trump won the state. The court opted against hearing an appeal from Clifford James Frost, one of the alternative electors for Michigan, who had faced criminal case from Attorney General Dana Nessel over his involvement in the effort. A state judge dismissed the charges earlier this year due to lack of evidence.
Nice.
So, yes.
So this is from the AP. I'll go to that. You were asking about that?
Yes.
Well, feed here. Trump directs the Pentagon to use all available funds to ensure troops are paid despite shutdown.
There you go.
There's Donald Trump doing that, despite government shutdown.
There you go.
Yep.
Stick it to the Democrats,
Exactly.
Donnie. We love this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's such a great president.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, always a step ahead.
Hell yeah.
Always a step ahead of the demo-commie crowds.
And you know what?
But I do want to tell a joke. Are you ready for the joke? If you want to cut to my computer, we'll share the joke with everybody.
Lord, help us.
Okay. Blinken claims Trump's ceasefire deal in Middle East is built on Biden's original plan.
Oh, they got.
You know, this is
They
where
got.
this is where we need
They
Teddy.
got moxie, if nothing else.
This is where we need Teddy here to help me with the sound bites, because I think that would be a Dark Knight trilogy sound bite
Yes.
where the Joker says, "Do I look like a man who has a plan?" Because Joe Biden never had a plan. That guy's ridiculous.
I thought you would like that.
Yes.
Okay, so now out of the Midwesterner,
Uh-huh.
a Republican running for Congress responds to Oakland University students' call to execute.
Hold on, restart.
Start again?
I'm just double checking, dude.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Mike Bishop said that political violence is serious, and anyone calling for someone's execution must face real consequences. If we all remember, Mike Bishop used to be our congressman, and he was playing on the field with the other Republicans who got shot that day.
Oh, playing softball?
Yeah,
By a Democrat.
By a Democrat.
Ah.
That would be correct. That would be by a Bernie Sanders
supporter.
Yeah, was it Steve Scalise?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I don't believe that. The Democrats are inclusive, they're compassionate, and they're the most loving
Sure.
individuals on the planet.
Oh, you mean like the gay guy dating the transgender that assassinated Charlie Kirk?
That's
Yeah,
not true.
That's an exception to the rule.
Michigan Republican congressional candidate Mike Steger is speaking out about a recent Instagram post from an Oakland University student calling for his execution. To sit back and take a photo and make a threat online is, I think, in a sense, is desperation. Steger told CBS News, I think ultimately everyone realizes this is the environment we are living in. So, do you live in a state of fear, or are you courageous, or do you go out there and fight the good fight? See, this is the country that the Democrats have now created. You know, their hate and their lies have caused people's deaths.
Bubbling over to see
it's a bubble.
the ice has a mark. They're marked ices for doing their job.
Yeah, well, today the U.S. government was successful in this would be Pam Bondi in getting Facebook to take down a Facebook group based out of Chicago that was actively posting the whereabouts of ICE.
Okay.
And how about the governor of Chicago? Use him as an example.
Yes.
When is somebody going to clamp down on these people?
Yeah.
These protesters that are out there shooting at ICE. And when is this gonna? When were we gonna say enough is enough?
Right.
And how do you do that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the image that was posted says, "Can we execute these two things?" with red arrows that pointing to Steger and his associate.
Right.
So this
Move your hand,
sparked
Larry.
an immediate backlash from Oakland County, and I did see that the Oakland County chair did post about that.
Okay.
So
There's there's a little parable that we could do. Larry, do you have a toolbox in your garage? Joe, you got a toolbox in your garage?
In my car, you said?
In your garage, you got a little toolbox?
Yeah.
I got a couple big toolboxes out there.
yeah,
When I'm done working,
yeah,
I tend to put my tools back in the box. Then they're in their own place.
yeah.
A lot of these Democrat leaderships, they're just a bunch of tools, and somebody left them out of the box.
What a great analogy.
They need to be put back in their place,
Yeah.
in the box,
Yeah.
and the drawer needs to be closed
And locked.
and locked.
Yeah.
Because you're not being useful,
No.
and you're a tool. If
Yeah.
you're a tool and not being useful, you are useless.
Useless.
So
exactly.
we need to put you back in the box. You know, you're a 5/8 wrench. You need to be between the 11/16 and the 9/16. You know, you need to put you back in the box in your proper place.
So do you
because
see that happening?
I
Do
do.
you see any evidence? You do?
I do see Trump's being very strategic. Okay, he can't, because of posse comitatus, he can't deploy troops on the streets. All right,
Okay.
but he can send the National Guard to aid the ICE agents that are being attacked. I know. We'll get to that in a second. But on one level, he can legally, with full authority, dispense the National Guard to defend ICE agents
And federal.
in federal jurisdictions who are
right.
being attacked. So on one level, I like the fact that these stupid idiots are attacking ICE facilities. because it gives Trump the authority. Now, Larry's going to give us the other caveat point to that of contradicting posse comitatus and the National Guard. Go, Larry.
Well, I was just
Not just the Insurrection Act, but
well, actually, what I wanted to point out was Lyndon Johnson sent 8,000 troops to Detroit in 1968.
to quell a riot because there was legal authority to it. If this whole city goes into a riot, it is the proper responsibility of the president to quell a riot within a city. So, whether they're attacking a single ICE facility and disrupting the lawful duties of federal agents on the street, National Guard.
Yeah.
Now, if the whole city melts down, National Guard.
Well,
There
see,
are two provisions within the Constitution the president can.
Posse comitatus is just to assure that government doesn't use military force against the lawful people,
100%.
right?
But
Against
when
the
it
Constitution.
When
and
it
the
comes
rights.
to terrorist groups,
Right.
you have terrorist groups fall under a completely different framing. It's like a lot of people want to talk about like when you have uniformed troops.
Yes,
Okay, you have the Geneva Convention,
100%.
right? And the Geneva Convention is rules of war.
Correct.
Right? That all goes out the window when you're talking about a terrorist group. Why? Because a terrorist group is not a uniformed military.
Correct. That's why.
It is a terrorist group.
That's why
So
President
these-
Trump designated Antifa as a terrorist group because that gives him lawful authority.
Right.
Which
Well,
they
Because
are a
they're
terrorist
not
group.
going to comply with the.
and
and
they
they're not uniformed.
And they
Right.
are a terrorist group. Right,
100%.
There's no doubt that they are a terrorist group.
You know
we
what
have footage from under Barack Obama and under Trump the last time of the terrorist group in action, and even what's that
Look in
young
Oregon.
man's name that they tried to put in jail?
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Kyle Rittenhouse
Yeah.
was involved in one of those terrorist attacks on the city.
Yeah. And
Somebody tried to take him out.
Wabasha? Or
yeah.
No, Waukesha.
Waukesha, I believe.
Was it Waukesha?
Something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. It was a
Yeah.
W in Wisconsin.
Right, where he had to defend his own life. Somebody tried to cave in his skull with a skateboard.
Yikes.
So, but this next story is Michigan Board of Education mulls plan to remove parental oversights
Oh.
of sex education.
Oh. Okay.
So,
Hey, did you see this before you read that one? Did you see that Jimmy Kimmel's Jimmy Kimmel, where the hell was it?
He's got a new program.
Oh, no. Did you see that Jimmy Kimmel?
comment on their order, which they issued without even asking the families of Sandy Hook victims to respond to Jones's appeal. An FBI agent who responded to the shooting also sued. The
Yeah.
lawyer who represents Sandy Hook families said that the Supreme Court properly rejected Jones' last desperate attempt to avoid accountability for the harm he has caused.
Bullshit.
So, but I mean, $1.4 billion. He doesn't have that money anyway.
Dude, he's made, they did a true accounting of his earnings over the years.
Yeah,
He's never grossed over $60 million.
right.
And he spent 40 of that now, total, fighting these lawsuits.
Right.
This was never about Sandy Hook. This was never about any of that. This is straight up about trying to take him off the air because he's speaking truth.
Yeah, they're not going to get him off the air.
They're not going to get him off the air. No,
No.
absolutely.
No.
No. And what the Supreme Court did, so here's the dynamic. You guys got to understand this a little bit. The Supreme Court, same with the electors, right? If you don't package your lawsuit correctly, when it comes to the Supreme Court, it'll be rejected by the clerks. Okay? So there are thousands of cases presented to the Supreme Court every year, which is the only duly appointed federal court in the land. All these other circuit courts, all these other lower
District
courts
yeah.
are all perfunctory. They're there to weed out certain cases to get to the Supreme Court. Okay? The Supreme Court is the only constitutional court in the land. Judges are appointed, they're presented to Congress, voted upon, and put on the bench. Okay? It's the only court. When we talk about courts being part of, so all these judges that are pushing back against Trump policy and all this stuff, they're illegitimate.
Right.
Right.
But a lot of times cases get thrown back through the clerks of the Supreme Court because they just don't have their paperwork in standing. I've listened to multiple. I listened to Viva Fry. I've listened to a bunch of other lawyers that are out there that do little podcasts. Okay, and they talked about how they just didn't have their paperwork. They'll assess cases and they go, they didn't have their paperwork in order. So it just gets kicked by the clerk because they're reading through it and they're going, you didn't properly, list out this or list out that or present your cases. Okay, Alex Jones's case made it through the clerks.
Yes.
And made it to the judges, all right? And they choose on a regular basis. You've looked this up. Do your own research on this. The judges on the Supreme Court choose what cases they will hear based on the merit and what cases they won't hear. If they don't feel it has merit, they won't listen to it. Part of that is political. If they don't feel political pressure, the reason why, and we talked about it on the show back when it happened, the reason why they kicked out Roe versus Wade and sent it back to the states, they didn't make abortion legal. They said this is a state's issue. You know why? Because there was a huge push and pressure on the Supreme Court to do that. And so they took up the case and then judged it on its merits. For that asshole lawyer that represents the Sandy Hooks, he doesn't represent Sandy Hooks families. They've made $300 million off of those families' backs, those lawyers, okay? They didn't take the case up, and so that lawyer sits there and says, oh, it was proved by this. No, they simply didn't take the case. They chose not to adjudicate on the case. And Teddy texted me about this. He texted me the headline today, and I'm like, yeah, I was listening to Alex Jones already today. I heard all about it. But I said to him, I says, you know what they're going to do? They're going to regroup it. They're going to reformat it.
Repackage it.
They're going to repackage it, and they're going to resubmit it. And they're going to keep resubmitting it and keep resubmitting it. Because Alex Jones, love him or hate him, I love him. He gets a little fiery sometimes. I tell him to shut up and listen to him. But here's the thing. They never had a trial on the merits of the case. The judge said he was in default. They said, you didn't give us all the Google analytics on your sales techniques. He goes, we gave you everything we have. He's like, you didn't give us all the Google analytics. You're in default. And the trial we're actually going to hold is based on how much money you owe these families after we've held you in default.
He never had a trial?
No.
Oh.
The trial that you saw on TV was after he was already convicted, and it was a trial based on how much.
I never saw a trial.
Well, the trial that they held that was an HBO special that they had the judges powdering up in between scenes.
Yeah.
Was all to determine how much money, and you said it, Larry, $1.5 billion, the biggest judgment ever, not the fentanyl and drug companies that have killed more people across the board with their drugs, getting them addicted to morphine and all sorts of other shit, right? Not those guys.
That doesn't fit the agenda.
But Alex Jones, who said maybe there's something to do with this Sandy Hook thing, I'll have a few people come on, they're talking about it. They only presented 18 minutes of footage because that's all he ever spent time on, Sandy Hook. He said, I could care less about it. He goes, yeah, there's anomalies all the time. But you want to, and it cited the Fed, the FBI agent, literally in the court testimony, he goes, I never heard of this guy's name until the trial. Yet this guy says that I said his name and slandered him to the point that he felt $51 million worth of grief and harm from my broadcast. This is a First Amendment case. That's the disappointment of the Supreme Court not taking it up. But it'll be repackaged, it'll be represented. And for them to dance there and act like they've won a victory, The Justice Department is looking into it on behalf of Alex Jones because he knows he's been railroaded. So whether his appeal goes through the Supreme Court or whether the Justice Department takes this up and says, this was bullshit from day one, and not only are you going to bring restitution, but you're going to
Serve time.
you're going to serve time, and this is no longer going to happen because this is, dude, it would be no different than us right here, Larry saying something like he always says, that inflamed one of his leftist buddies out there, and they suing us for multi-millions of dollars. That's called lawfare. And then Larry appeals it and says, you never proved your case. A judge defaulted me saying that I didn't present enough evidence. They lied. And now we're in court. And they go, nah, you didn't present your case right. We're not even going to hear it. What would you do, Larry? You'd repackage that motherfucker and you'd get it back in there. Right? Well, that's what Alex Jones is going to do. But you would also get a good attorney general, either statewide or federal, who says, this was a railroad, this was lawfare, we're going to act on behalf. I've listened for the last 3 weeks, or 2 months actually, Alex Jones being summoned by the Trump administration to Washington to give depositions, not depositions, but share his side of it, and them telling him behind closed doors, and he's only allowed to share a certain amount, saying, "Now we know this was bullshit. We got your. We're gonna sift through this, and we're gonna make this right." So yes, the Supreme Court turned it down. Supreme Court turns down thousands of cases every year.
They can't see every case.
They can't see every case. 100%. 100%. Doesn't mean that the case didn't have merit. Doesn't mean that it won't be represented and overturned.
Right. All right. So we don't have much time left. So
Go,
the
Larry.
Michigan Board of Education molds plan to remove parental oversight of sex education. What are the Democrats up to?
Oh, they like.
In September, the Michigan Board of Education released a new series of proposals to update the public school health curriculum to include. Currently, the law states that parents can opt out of sex education class if they want to teach their students in a way that they determine. If the parents want to, they can have their student take the class to school. The school must have a parental advisory board that includes parents, local clergy, and community members to assure parents that the material is appropriate and reflects the values and beliefs the parent wants. Of course, Democrats would be against that. How else could they teach kids that it's okay to put on a skirt, a halter top, and
We're going to
khakis?
mandate you do this, and then you've got to jump through hoops to get out of the mandate.
Right. Well, you just tell the school no.
How about this? Let's just take the kids over to the family farm, like we used to do years ago, and let them hang out for a day.
Yeah.
And you know what? They'll get a bunch of education right there, and then they'll come home and they'll go, "Dad, why was that one horse on top of that other horse?" Well, son, that's the birds and the bees. Let's talk about it.
Yep.
That's called procreation, and that's how you were here.
So the new curriculum
And I don't need the school to do this shit.
Right.
removes the safeguards and instead make taking the health class a graduation requirement. Right? So,
now granted.
I mean, that's simple to get around.
Yeah, now
That's simple to get around. Your kid,
Right.
You keep your kid from going to the class. They get to their senior year,
Yeah.
and then they go take their GED,
and they're good to
done.
go.
Yeah.
And granted, I get it. Listen, but when you were in school, you were in school, I was in school, our health class was a bunch of gross pictures of venereal diseases.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Okay? And a bunch of medical diagrams of a woman's anatomy and a man's anatomy. All right? And that was our sex education class. And our parents went, yes. Because we can't monitor you all the time. We tell you what the best thing for your life, but we can't always monitor. So you know what? Look at what gonorrhea does to your balls. You know? It's totally different today when you know the Democrats and the leftists are in charge and they want to cut off genitals and they want to groom your kids. That's why they want to keep the sex education is. I remember.
You mean like Senator Alyssa Slotkin?
Yeah, exactly. I remember you used to have a blood test to get married.
Yes.
right? What was that about?
Checking for venereal diseases.
And genetics, genetic.
Oh, was it a genetic?
You can't marry your cousin. I mean, you can't be in Gaza and marry your first cousin. That's 70% of marriages in Gaza is first cousins. That's part of the reason why they're being bombarded.
Yeah, and what about where's that Ohan Omar from? She from Palestine?
No shit. You want her to be, but
No.
she's from Somalia.
She's from Somalia.
Yeah, but she
so
did marry
in
her brother.
Somalia, you can
Yeah.
marry your brother.
Well, in order to get into the country,
Yeah.
and then you divorce him and then remarry him.
Yeah. Did you get the interview I sent you?
I probably did. It's probably disgusting. But but that got reduced from being a blood test to where now you just have to read a pamphlet.
Yeah.
You know, and the pamphlet's not even about
What
venereal
was-
diseases
what-
and stuff like that.
What was the shot they gave you that it left?
left a big star.
Yeah.
That
was that the
that-
mumps or?
Oh, it's like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you know that during that time, the amount of infant death syndrome cases were exploding? But it was because the mom shook the baby, not because they got 15 shots all at once.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it looks like you beat your child. No, that's the mercury you injected in my kid that
Yeah.
killed him. Continue, Larry.
Parents and teachers push back against proposed Michigan Board of Education sex ed guidelines.
This
What
is
do
a
you know
separate
about
article.
that? 33 strongly oppose the proposal,
Yeah.
while only 5 libtards spoke in favor of it. At a Tuesday night Michigan Board of Education meeting, parents and teachers voiced opposition to the proposal to make a revamped sex education curriculum a mandatory part of public school health curricula.
Oh, and Jamie Thompson was there, friend of the show.
Where's she at? Is she there?
You know what I
Third
think?
paragraph.
I think.
Under current law, parents and guidelines can opt their children out of sex education classes and instead handle those decisions at home. The proposed rule would remove the option, making such a sex education mandatory for all public school students beginning as early as the 3rd grade. Of those who attended, 33 strongly opposed, while only 5 spoke in favor. Another 30 people wished to comment online, but the board voted to postpone those remarks to a later date. Among them was Rep. Jamie Thompson, Brownstown.
Jamie's been on the show. We need to reach out to Jamie again. I like
Yeah.
her. She's a sweetheart. She ran for office because her daughter was killed.
Yeah,
by a strange guy.
on a motorcycle, right? She was on a motorcycle
No.
with her boyfriend?
No, I thought he came back and killed her.
No, I think it was a motorcycle accident.
I think we're going to have to look it up.
I think what a lot of this jockeying for the children's how they want to manipulate the children.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is twofold. One, the government in their crazy and insane egotistical approach to the children. They think their ideas are better, and they're really sick. But I think it's more than that. It is them wanting to make children victims so that they can come along and be the we're here to protect the children, just like they're here to protect different groups. What are the folks that I'm having?
You were right, Larry. There was a motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
What
So,
are the people that want sex changes and that, and they're 0.001% of the population. The government makes them a victim, and then once they make them a victim, now they got their votes and
Yep.
they have control. It's about conquering and dividing and controlling.
100%.
That's what it's about.
right.
You're right.
The common theme among testimony was opposition to proposed changes, incurring discussion of LGBTQ topics, and explicit sexual material, which parents said were not appropriate in public school classrooms.
They're
Many
not.
argued that the subject matter conflicts with their Christian beliefs and therefore violates the First Amendment. While religion is not taught, in fact, in a public school, parents emphasize the right to impart moral and religious values to their children at home.
Teach kids writing,
Yes.
reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Yeah. Yep.
When my grandkids,
I don't care if they teach about human procreation, but see, the problem is the liberals are bringing their anti-Christian agenda
100%.
into the schools
Right.
and trying to pervert all the children.
When my grandkids know more about transgender
and-
bullshit than
yeah.
they do how to write in cursive,
Yes.
I'm pissed off.
Well, sure. Sure, it is better to have a millstone hung around your neck
Than
than
to fuck.
to make one of
That's
the
great.
innocents
Great
stumble.
point. Great point,
Stumble.
Larry.
And one of the innocents stumble.
harm one
and
of
they
these-
are making the innocents stumble.
And if they can control the children that are 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old,
Get 'em all
they
whacked
got them
out.
for life.
100%.
So let me ask you, since we're talking about this, and we'll get back to the news, because do you think that a Christian can vote Democrat
oh, Larry,
and
went
still
there.
be a Christian? Because I don't.
I think they could be a ignorant Christian.
Yeah, I think they throw their salvation
I
out the
could,
window.
I could
I
say,
talked to you about this.
Yeah,
I think there's, and I agree with Joe. I think there's some very ignorant ones.
yeah,
The leadership, no way in hell.
yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
But you got to make a differentiation. There's a lot of people that are voting I sat with one guy. I've told this story years ago, or different times a few years back on the show. We had a buddy that we skated with, played hockey with. He's like, you guys got to vote for Biden. Trump's bad. You got to vote for Biden. I said, so you're for abortion on demand? Well, no. You're for higher taxes? Well, no. And I went through the whole plank of the Democrat Party, and he disagreed with every single one. And then I said, then why do you want me to vote for Biden? And he goes, because Trump's bad. And I'm a union guy. I've always voted for the Democrats. And I'm like, but you don't vote based on principle and study. You vote based on ideology and allegiance. And I guarantee you there are thousands, if not millions of people because their parents voted for Democrats, and those are JFK. If JFK was running today and was doing the things that he did, I'd vote for him 100%. RFK was a kick-ass dude, okay? RFK Jr., all right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, there's a big difference. I agree with you 100%. The leadership, they're leftist whack job
I'm talking
motherfuckers.
about the party platform.
Okay.
And, I mean, the exception to the rule are the uneducated and the ignorant that just don't know any better.
And I think,
but that's not the
majority.
majority.
You're saying the
think it
majority.
is.
That's not the majority.
I think it is, Larry. I think the majority of their people are duped into believing that they are not as whacked out as they are.
No, I think it's the D in front of their name, and they have been conditioned through their whole life.
That's what I
If
think.
there's a D in front of the name, you vote Democrat.
Yeah.
Correct.
My parents
I
were
understand. You want to be hardcore on it. I get it.
Yes.
But I agree with Joe, as a lot of people see that D and they vote and they have no fucking clue they're voting for
And my
devils
parents were
and demons.
Democrats, and my grandparents were Democrats,
Yep.
and they worked for the
Yep.
union, and they
Yep.
Ford.
Yep. There are guys right now that are salt of the earth guys that would take the shirt off their back for you that have been told by their union to vote for the Democrats, and they do.
Yeah, but
I told the unions when I had a union job, I actually sent the union a certified letter, a cease and desist on the Democrat Nazi propaganda you keep sending me.
Correct. But how many other guys don't have your fortitude?
Yeah.
Who don't have your insight or your education on it?
And
There's a lot of guys who believe just like you, but don't step up and don't stand up, that do vote for the Democrat. I do not believe. So I'll take your point. Voting for Democrat can't be a believer. I think 90% of those who vote Democrat have no clue as to the actual party allegiance that they're voting for. I think the 10%, the fringe ones that are vocal, Yeah, those are demons.
A very good friend of mine said it years ago. If you vote Democratic, you're either evil or ignorant.
That's 100%. And
Yeah.
I would lean evil 10%
Yeah,
and ignorant 90%.
yeah.
I've met a bunch of them, and when you talk to them and talk them through it, they go, "Oh, really?" My previous neighbor, he comes over here and he goes, "Oh, I can't do that. He's Trump's anti-abortion." I go, "Okay." He goes, "Well, you can't do that, can't do this." I go, "You believe in abortion, buddy?" He's like, "Well, you know, in cases of rape and incest," I goes, "Rape and incest 0.07% of the recorded cases." I said, "The rest of it's birth control, and it's the most heinous and horrible birth control." So you want to have unprotected sex in 99.3% of the time and use abortion on demand to justify it, knowing what they do. And I pulled up stuff. I was like,
They
you know,
use
this is what
acid.
do you know what they do with the babies when they're getting them out of the womb? Do you know what they do with the body parts? Do you know how much they sell the body parts for? Do you know what it's used in making soft drinks to figure out? Do you know what they're doing? And he went, "I didn't know all that." I goes, "I know."
You
So
know,
this was a good person who believed in a platform that was evil because they weren't educated. I get what you're saying 100%, Larry.
and what you're saying is really the actions like
Well,
the
if you
abortion
know what the
are
Democrats Party
evil
stands for.
That's
in
the
and
key.
of
If
itself.
you know what the Democrat Party stands for,
you can't be a believer.
Then you can't be.
Correct. That's
yeah.
the caveat. That's the caveat.
Right.
If you know,
Yes.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and so would I. And the thing is, they don't see the evil of the action.
I
when
would
it comes
ask
to-
anybody who votes Democrat,
Yeah. Do you realize what you're voting for?
how are you honoring God with your vote?
Well, there's one
How
angle.
are you honoring God? And I am not going to say that the Republicans are perfect,
Right.
that the Republicans are the party of God,
Yeah.
but they're not. But they are far closer to biblical
Oh, absolutely.
direction.
No, and that's what I would say is you would say, how are you honoring God? I would say, I would go the other direction and say, do you realize what you're voting for?
Right.
And when they go, what do you mean?
Gay marriage,
Abortion on demand,
transgenderism.
yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Go right down the line.
You know,
Pull up
there-
clips on your phone.
Like
Yeah.
just take the rainbow flag, just the rainbow flag, right? Okay, what does it represent? Represents homosexuality, transsexual, it's promiscuity. Is that the right word?
Promiscuity.
Promiscuity. More-
Promiscuity, right? What else? Excessive pride. What else? There's one more thing, very important about that flag. What else does it mean? Idolatry. Because
Yeah.
you are putting that agenda
Above everything else.
above God.
But you're- so
see, let me say this:
yeah.
if the acts that they're doing, abortion is evil, but the people that are ignorant, they don't see that, they don't grasp the
Yes.
evil, so that doesn't make them evil just
Now,
because they're ignorant.
Did you know that I'm the survivor?
You know what I'm saying?
Did you know I'm the survivor of an abortion attempt? My mother tried to have an abortion.
Oh, boy, that hits home.
It does. It does.
That hits home.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
But I count my blessings.
100%.
I count my blessings because for whatever reason, those doctors
Fucked up.
decided not to do the abortion.
Right.
Sent her packing. Right. I ended up in an orphanage. I was adopted by
Awesome people.
awesome people.
Yep.
You know, and here I am irritating Joe today.
I don't know about Joe, but definitely me. Yeah.
Yeah, you're all right, buddy.
No,
Yeah.
so it's a matter of, comes down to, do you recognize and realize what you're voting for?
Right.
And I think that's the problem. I heard the quote again today, whether it was Jefferson or who it was. He goes, "This doesn't work for an uninformed group of people. The Constitution
Right.
doesn't work. The Constitution and a representative republic, doesn't work for an uninformed constituency.
No.
You have to be informed. And what we've got now, they've systematically worked through the school systems and through society.
They
to
have dumbed
uninform-
down society.
You and I have, the three of us have all been at family gatherings and heard the phrase, "We don't discuss religion and politics."
Right.
We don't discuss that here. We don't discuss religion.
Those
That
are my
was-
favorite things to
That was literally implemented throughout
shut us
society
up.
to shut down public discourse within the home where it needs to be the most prolific.
Yes.
It needs to be the most foundational
And one of the
fundamental.
things, and one of the reasons I take issue with clergy
Yeah.
is that you're not leading your flock.
That was my point earlier about
You're
the
not
Prop
you're
3
not
Correct.
doing
being
your
an
job.
example.
And Prop 3 is a perfect example. And a friend of mine's a minister, and he preached about the sin of abortion. And one of the people in his congregation came to him afterwards, says, "If you talk about that again, I'm leaving. I'm not coming back.
Because
Re-
then
remember-
You got to take your politics out of your church."
Remember
That's
that?
that's what he told. And then when the guy said, "Well, then, I'm not going to stop preaching the word," the
Right.
guy all of a sudden went into a Anglo-Saxon rant.
Did you
me dropping F-bombs?
Yeah.
Several times.
Okay.
did you remember the event I put on at Floodgate called Politics, the Church and Politics?
Yes.
And Bob Duco came and he's
Uh-huh.
one of the speakers. And that was to reach out to pastors. That was another effort to reach out to pastors and say, hey, come and see, listen to educated,
All the pastors,
well-informed people.
all the pastors I'm associated with do their job.
And
All of them.
invite the pastors. Now, how many pastors I invited
Mm-hmm.
to come to this event? 2 of them showed up.
Yep. Pastor,
It's
I'll tell
just-
you what.
It's frustrating.
Pastor Tim Forsyth over at Cornerstone Church,
Uh-huh.
he does his job, right? Of course, you got Pastor Toma over here at the Lutheran Church. He does his job.
How
You know,
about
you've got,
Bill Bolin
you
at
got-
Floodgate?
Yep, and then
He's the ultimate example.
yep, and then you have
Bill's good.
Pastor Mark Fernandez at the Church of God in Durand. He does his job.
Uh-huh.
Bob Phillips, who's a good friend of mine, he does his job
Yeah.
up at his church up in.
So
in the
how can
Flint
they
area.
do it and the majority of the pastors can't?
Well,
Because Bob Bolin and Pastor Tuma and a whole bunch of these other pastors you guys have mentioned stayed open during the lockdown bullshit.
Right.
A lot of these pastors, they're not. You know what the number one? So we talked about 501c3 earlier tonight.
Yeah.
Do you know what the whole point of 501c3 is?
It was to separate
Money.
money.
It's to
separate people from their money.
But it's just money.
Yeah.
Why did we file a 501c3 status? That's just an
that's
IRS
right.
designation.
Oh, okay.
Do you know why we
That's what
filed
it-
a 501c3 status designation? So that people could write it off without any, so when they gave to the church, they could write it off without having any hindrance. When a guy walks up to him and says, "I'm not going to come here if you're going to keep talking about abortion," and then goes into a tirade, do you know what that's about? I'm not going to give my money to this congregation if you don't stop doing this. The love of money is the root of all evil.
Right. Well,
It
that's
has
true.
nothing
That's
to do with whether
it.
you're rich or poor.
Right.
You can be the poorest sod on the land, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and still love money. You can be the richest guy out there and still love money. It's what's controlling you.
Right.
501c3 status, you know what it was about? Oh, can you write this off or write that off? No, I don't give a shit.
All right, buddy.
People want to give.
Great show.
You're good,
yeah.
Well,
Joe.
let me see. How about Lindell? I wanted to find out. I think.
That was another one. He was Alex Jones.
Yeah. And so.
Did you hear about that?
No, I did not.
So Lindell was found guilty by default. Right here, guilty by default. I'll go to my feed, wall feed. So breaking news, breaking exclusive. Minnesota judge finds Lindell guilty of defaming Dominion voting systems with no trial or jury, just like politicized ruling against Alex Jones and InfoWars.
So how do they declare no trial? Isn't
So
that
what
part
they
of
do
your-
is they figure out how to. He did a whole interview. I'm not going to go into the whole interview on this, but literally what they do in these default. So it's a default judgment. Okay.
Right.
The way that a default judgment works is that you.
It's like saying you didn't show up for trial.
Correct. That's the only way the default should work. And that's what happened with the Supreme Court case with Alex being kicked back. Is he's like, we gave him everything we legitimately had. And they go, nope, there's more information you didn't give us that you didn't, that we know you had it. And you didn't give it to us. No, we never had it. No, we know you had it. You didn't give it to us. Default. Now we're going to figure out how much money you owe.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with Mike Lindell. And you know what they're doing? Mike Lindell's My Pillow company is owned by him and his employees.
Yeah.
They all have a share in that company.
And they are trying to
And
tear down the
they
company.
are literally going to dismantle
The company.
the company if they can move forward with this. Now it's on appeal, and Mike Lindell is raising money. So if you guys out there, if you haven't got some My Pillows, I've got one. If you haven't got some sheets and some towels and some other stuff from My Pillow, they got slippers, they got all sorts of stuff. Go on there, and if you need some stuff like that, go and purchase that because you're going to support them. They're going to mount an appeal, all right? And they will ultimately be successful. Alex Jones will ultimately be successful because the truth will outlast the lie all day long, and it will happen. But that's what happened with Mike Lindell is they go, we asked you for this information, and you didn't give it to us. And they go, that information doesn't exist. Default, you didn't give us the information. It doesn't exist. They wanted to know what Alex Jones's sales strategy on the Sandy Hook agenda was based on. And he goes, we never built a sales strategy on Sandy Hook. And he goes, you're not going to give us the information? He goes, there's no information to give you. We never launched a sales
They just
campaign.
fabricate some.
No, we know we did a sales campaign. We're going to default you. What? This is the bullshit. It's lawfare. It's we're either going to sue you into oblivion or we're going to get a corrupt judge to default you saying you didn't give them enough. Larry, I need your logs for when you were driving truck in 1924.
I wasn't driving a truck in that.
Nope, you didn't give me your logs for 1924. Default.
I wasn't born yet.
Now we're going to have a trial on how much you owe us for not giving us your logbooks for driving semi-trucks in 1924.
I wasn't alive.
Did they have?
Nope. We're gonna muzzle you and gag you from being able to speak in the court. In fact, the next time you go to talk, I'm going to tell the HBO cameras to turn off because you are a proven liar. Jury, disregard this proven liar who says that he wasn't born in 1924. He's suppressing the proof that he had logbooks and was driving truck in 1924.
But they
sound
didn't
like
have trucks in 1924.
You can be kicked out of the courtroom right now, sir, for defaming the court and be held in contempt. Dude.
Yeah, I mean, this is the
That's
judges
the way it
do
goes,
this.
yeah.
They did it to a guy named Irwin Schiff.
They did it to a guy named. Tried to do it to a guy named Trump.
Yeah.
This is the shit that we've watched over the last 8
Let me
years.
see
Yeah.
a piece of paper.
And
All right,
if-
sign it, Larry. All right, going to overhead, sign it. Final thought, Larry.
Final thought.
Am I sign mine or that one?
No, you're going to sign that one, buddy. Give me your
Final thought. Donald Trump is the best president in American history.
Okay.
He is working very hard to achieve world peace. Now, I have a question to ask you. Remember,
Oh,
I told
shit.
you I had a question to ask
Yeah, I
you?
thought we were done, though.
Yeah. Well,
ahead, give me your question.
Here's the question.
All right, we'll make it quick.
Yep. Is Donald Trump stopping the war in the Middle East God's plan?
Well,
Is that why he turned Trump's head and the bullet grazed his ear?
well, it says God appoints the leaders. So, if he appointed Trump, right, then I would tend to think that.
I would tend to believe that.
I tend to believe that too.
But
If
there's a lot of nuances there. We
Yeah.
can get into it in another show.
and we will.
Because as much as I believe that Trump was appointed the leader of a righteous remnant that were demanding God give us a leader who who was not Barack Obama or Poopy Pants Biden. I also believe and recognize that God gives you the leader that you want, or the leader that you
deserve.
And I believe that Netanyahu has been a very evil, diabolical leader, and his people, the people of Israel, need to step up and say, this is one thing we don't cover, or we haven't covered at length. Maybe we will in a future show. The Israelites went into captivity multiple times throughout their history. And yet today, the nation state of Israel complains on the floor of the United Nations or to our own Congress in a joint session. Netanyahu will get up there and espouse that his enemies are the sole problem of Israel. And I disagree. I think that the leadership of Israel is corrupt, just like the leadership of America. Adam Schiff's, the Joe Biden's, the Barack Obama's, even
Alyssa Slotkins.
I think they're hugely corrupt. And I
Wait a
think
minute. I said that wrong.
Slutkin.
Slobskin.
So I to answer your question, do I believe that God raised up Trump to bring peace? 100%. He is a peacemaker.
Although I do want to tell everybody that Trump got out a good one today.
What?
George Slobonopoulos.
Nice. I like it.
But then here's another discussion, a question that will go unanswered.
Yeah.
It'll go, is with peace with Israel, is that the beginning of the
Don't you do it, Joe.
of Christ's return?
Don't you do it.
Yeah.
Don't you do it.
It's the last prophecy to be fulfilled.
I have my opinions on that too.
So we got a lot.
Yeah, give me your final thoughts, Joe. No, here real quick.
Can I say one last
Oh, my
thing?
goodness.
One last.
This is
final
the guy who
thought.
wants to shut. He wants us to call it
One
a night.
last final thought. Alyssa Slotkin, open the government.
No, let's keep it closed. Let Trump fund the essentials.
Okay.
Yeah.
And start laying everybody out.
Yeah, and they can't.
I like that
And
shit.
they can't.
Hey, the government's been shut down for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Have you guys,
hasn't hurt me.
dude? I think we're doing.
And
all
I
right.
don't think it's hurt probably 95% of the public.
No.
If probably more.
Joe, final
Here's
thoughts.
my thoughts. I appreciate the dialogue. I hope the audience appreciated the dialogue
Yeah.
tonight. And what I love about the program is I always learn something. Jeremy, your insights are incredible.
Thank you, Joe.
And I always learn something, and I appreciate that I had the opportunity to come on the show tonight.
Well, I appreciate you 100%, Joe. You chose to come because we needed. I asked you. I said, you know what? I'm down. Patrick's still dealing with his mom. Teddy's working on school. A couple of the other people that we call weren't there, and you said, yeah, if you absolutely need a fourth chair. I goes, dude, at this point, I need a third chair.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, Larry and I can go back and forth, but Larry, he'd rather
He falls asleep
he
once
play
in a
with his
while.
phone and meme until we get to his lightning round. Then all of a sudden,
Sometimes I crank out 10 memes. He don't even know it. They're like bouncing all over Facebook.
I know it. Like when Tim was in studio, he would go, Larry's playing with his phone again. He'd have the little graphic pop up. But you took Bible study off tonight to come be with us, so I appreciate you so much for being third chair tonight.
And I appreciate being here.
But I
and,
think we got a little Bible study going, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did. I think the Lord had better plans for the evening for me. And
Yeah.
so I'm thrilled to be part of it.
100%. And I appreciate both of you throwing questions at me at the end. I think none of those, the difficulty of questions we had during dinner, the difficulties we had.
Didn't have enough time.
Well, not enough time, but it's because they're nuanced. There is no, we want to make everything black and white.
Black and white, yeah.
And it's never black and white.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
always gray.
Yeah.
It's almost always absolutely gray. You know,
Yeah.
we go, well, this rule in Scripture is an absolute. I go, you know what's absolute? The love of my grandchildren. That's absolute.
Yeah.
You know, that God is going to make sure sowing and reaping continues as long as the earth remains sowing and reaping. There we go. We're back. I'm a hockey goalie. I play with my buddies on Mondays and Wednesdays. Do you know the best goalie ever had a 93% lifetime save average? Dominic Hasek.
But he missed
Best
seven.
goalie. So that's 7% of the time he got scored on.
Right.
And what I found is you can do everything you can do, and you're still going to get scored on.
Right.
I say to the guys every once in a while on hockey, I go, you have to be right 1% of the time. I have to be right 100% to make that save.
Yeah.
And I've learned that in life, that we're always going to miss it. We can always retrospectively looking back, I could have done that better. I could have done this better. I could have done that better. And the reality is, I need to do the best I can in the moment and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. Look at a baseball player, strikes out, what?
Your best
out.
players are a 300 or 400.
Yeah.
If you're 300, you're a badass. If you're climbing towards 400, you're awesome.
Right.
Some of the best hitters out there have are also equally the highest strikeout averages because they're going for it every time.
Right.
The guys that
Riley Green.
Yeah. Riley Green.
Perfect example.
Exactly.
It's either a home run or forget
Or
it.
strikeout.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's amazing. You're like, wait a minute, you're 30% at best at bat.
Yeah.
You know, that's walks,
Yeah.
that's hits, that's home runs.
You're doing a lousy job, Riley.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and when you think about a baseball season, to be above 500, that's the goal of every team, to be above 500. You know, for baseball.
Yeah.
There's different dynamics, and we got to figure that stuff out. You leaving me, Larry?
Yeah.
What are you
11:30.
getting all anxious? I'm sorry, did I hurt your feelings?
No.
I love you.
It was a fun show.
Yes.
All right, guys, do your thing. Like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. We appreciate everybody here tuning in tonight. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for the super chats from Jeffrey Majo.
Yes.
And
be
thank you
careful.
Read the bottom of your paper.
Yes.
That was hilarious, dude.
Yeah, I want to thank him for the $1 that he gave.
He gave you $1.
Yeah.
Now I have to wait like 4 months for that to cash out, and then I'll get you your $1. Maybe we'll take it out of the kitty. We froze again. I don't know what the hell the deal is. I got to figure this stuff out. I'm gonna have to contact Rumble because this is not on our end. Our end's working fine. Yeah. It's just something's goofy, and I don't know what the deal is, but we'll figure it out. Hey guys, the Alex Jones. One of the ways you can do super chats, obviously. John Bovey and Jeffrey Amayo know how to do that. But if you want to support the show and what work we're doing here, maybe to buy another piece of equipment that doesn't cause us to freeze, you can go to thealexjonesstore.com/this is my brain. thealexjonesstore.com/this is my brain, and buy some awesome products. I take multiple products on there. For myself, Joe Farkas, Larry Parsons. You guys have a blessed and beautiful night. Never, ever stop pursuing your own best purpose and highest potential in God. Amen?
This is my brain.
Dad, that's an egg.
Yeah, that's an egg.
Honey,
Dude,
that's an egg.
seriously,
That's an egg.
It's a metaphor.
It's still an egg.
that's an egg.
I would challenge you.
That's an egg.
I know my brain is not actually an egg, okay? It's a metaphor.
Metaphor or not, that's not your brain.
It's just an egg.
Una cerveza para mí. My egg is my brain.
Can I at least have some bacon, maybe some sausage with that egg, though?
Oh, I want some bacon.
I want crepes.
Have some bacon and pancakes with that egg.
I'll take it with cheese.
Extra large brown cage-free eggs.
Can I have your brain with cakes?
A little sausage and a little toast and potato.
That would be great.
Does it have antibiotics?
I don't know, man. I'm not good at this shit.
Well, they got to be able to resist some diseases.
You resist the disease.
Has it got any hormones?
Maybe. It's cage-free.
Vegetarian?
Maybe.
Are they vegan?
No, I eat steak.
Never apologize and never explain.
Never apologize.
Never apologize and never explain.